Hate crimes on the mass transportation network of the UK have doubled over the past 5 years, according to British Transport Police data. In what would be the first case of its kind, a Louisiana woman allegedly died from a THC overdose after vaping a large amount of cannabis oil. The Mind Unleashed, citing the New Orleans Advocate, reports that the otherwise healthy 39-year-old collapsed and died in her LaPlace apartment in February due to high levels of THC, the main psychoactive compound in cannabis. That's according to St. John Baptist Parish Coroner Christy Montague. The woman had healthy organs and no symptoms of illness or elevated traces of alcohol and drugs in her body. While THC can cause heart palpitations and extreme anxiety in some users, the federally funded National Institute of Drug Abuse has said that no recorded deaths have been attributable to marijuana overdose. Various experts have also cast doubt on the coroner's claims, describing his conclusion as highly unlikely. A former senior policy advisor at the White House Office of National Drug Control Policy noted that if such overdoses were possible, the growing amounts of cannabis consumption in the U.S. would have likewise risen. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
A new report finds climate change skeptics could reach catastrophic levels by 2020. The nation's gratuitously sexual couples announce plans to wait in line at Six Flags. And Grandpa looks absolutely precious in his new baseball cap. Offering a one-stop shop for all your peerless online news summary needs, this is the Onion Week in Review. In response to the escalating violence and rising death toll in Gaza this week, Israel unveiled a new defense system to deflect accusations of human rights violations. Israeli officials praised the new safety structure's ability to intercept an international barrage of war crime allegations and divert criticisms of Palestinian civilian casualties before they can ever hope to make contact with the Jewish state. In other news, a new state law requires doctors to scale an 18-foot wall surrounding abortion clinics. A study finds high school students retain only 1/3 of their obsolete curriculum over the summer, and a man's anxiety is not about to let depression muscle in on its turf.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. You're invited to join us here if you want. Live Saturday edition kicking off with you. It's Ian.
And Mark.
The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We also have the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm, so feel free to drop into one of those rooms and you will sound almost like you are sitting here in the studio with us, and you can talk about whatever's on your mind. Now, Mark, you had I had not heard this news, shocking story.
You're shocked?
I mean, it's crazy that people still haven't learned their lesson about prohibition, that prohibition of whatever it is that you don't like doesn't work, and that it always has the same consequences of driving things underground, whatever the thing is that's being prohibited, whether it's drugs or prostitution or gambling or, you name it. It drives it underground, makes it more dangerous than it was previously. If it was already dangerous, it gets worse, and drives it in the hands of criminals. And now apparently some folks have voted in favor of, in a city in California, banning, is it just cigarettes or is it all tobacco?
Tobacco sales.
So just sales but not possession. Let's get into the story. I want to know more about this. Where's it from?
CBS. So, there's bound to be a typo. They write their stories with computers.
Is that right?
Robots.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not this one. I don't know. Beverly Hills City Council on Tuesday unanimously voted to...
Wow.
That's Tuesday of this week.
Not a single dissenter.
Unanimously voted to make it the first U.S. city to ban the sale of cigarettes, cigars, e-cigarettes.
And the e-juice, okay.
Yep, not a tobacco product, ladies and gentlemen,
Nope.
but whatever.
It's nicotine. Bad. Bad.
And other tobacco products.
So they went ahead and banned nicotine gum?
Probably not.
No.
I would guess.
So that's okay. So if you deliver your nicotine through medically approved methods, then it's okay.
The gum's okay. Yeah. The ban applies to gas stations, pharmacies, convenience and grocery stores, but includes exemptions for hotels and 3 local cigar lounges.
Oh, how nice.
It's set to take effect in the beginning of 2021.
Wow. So basically, whoever it is that runs these cigar lounges is going to get really rich off of this. It's
not that big of a city.
Beverly Hills?
Yeah, it's not that big.
I mean, I've never been there before, but there's television shows named after it.
Sure. But I'm talking about geographically large. It's certainly, it has great parlance, no doubt. But
yeah, you're right. Population 34,000. That isn't that big.
I wasn't talking about populous. I was talking about big. But
still, that's not that big. I mean, that's barely larger than Keene, New Hampshire.
Right. Well, you're using the term large to mean populous. I'm using the term large.
Well,
to mean
population matters
massive.
To me. I mean, because you're talking about how many people does this affect?
Well, we were just in New York City. There's probably buildings in New York City that could house 35,000 people. So if all you have to do is go out of your building and across the street, I'm talking the argumentum ad absurdum here. Just go across the street in order to get your tobacco product, then it isn't really terrible for you or anything. What I'm saying is that the consequences of prohibition are unlikely to begin to rear their heads in this circumstance.
When you say that, you mean gang members won't be likely selling tobacco on the streets.
Right. There probably won't be any tobacco hits. It's just I'm guessing here, especially when you're talking about the e-cigarette things, which can last for days and weeks, depending on how you use the things. I don't think it'll be that big of a deal. However, it is certainly a pain in the butt, and it's a next step down the road to you just can't smoke.
Well, and plus a lot of places, a lot of politicians look to California, and they look to the cities in California to ascertain what works and what doesn't as far as what can they get away with. Not that this will work to stop people from purchasing cigarettes. It won't. Even a total ban in California wouldn't stop people from purchasing cigarettes because, again, it would go underground and the black market would take care of it. But California, I think, was the first, maybe it was New York, California or New York, or was like one of the first or second states to prohibit smoking in businesses.
Yep.
In restaurants, and that spread across most of the country.
Yeah, and that was within our lifetimes. I mean, very relatively
within
recently.
The last 20 years or so.
Right. So I guess the question that we need to ask ourselves, ladies and gentlemen, is are we able to participate in activities that might be considered harmful to ourselves? Because
are you able? Yes. Is it illegal? Well, that depends.
Some politicians, well, are you adult enough? Do you get to decide how your life goes? And I mean, it says life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Some people are a little happier when they're smoking. Now, I'm not saying that means that you should be able to lock me in a room and smoke in the room with me or anything like that.
That would be kidnapping.
But you should be able to allow smoking in your home. You should be able to allow smoking in your business. You should be able to be free to sell and buy tobacco products from people who are free to sell and buy tobacco products. Because if you can't do those things, you aren't free.
But Mark, so many people don't like smoking.
I don't like it.
They don't like the way it smells.
I don't like it at all.
They don't like seeing people they care about smoking, and they want to do whatever they can, even use the threat of violence if necessary, because they know what's best. You don't know what's best if you're smoking, obviously. The people who don't like smoking know what's best, and they will do what it takes.
Cigarette laws were deadly for Eric Garner.
Yeah, actually, we saw some graffiti, Eric Garner graffiti, while we were in New York City.
For those of you who don't know, this was the man who was killed, I believe, in Staten Island for selling what they call Lucy's, single cigarettes. Yeah. And, well, I guess that he didn't want to go to jail that day.
Yeah, they choked him to death, the cop.
Every law, no matter how minor, is a death sentence if you resist it enough.
That's right. If you don't want to go along with the men with guns and badges when they show up to take you away.
And that's what these nanny staters here in Beverly Hills passed. Yet another death sentence for another person who decided that they wanted to do business in tobacco.
Does it say in the story what the penalty is purported to be for this? It's presumably a town ordinance.
No, this is the sort of thing where you're just not going to get a license. I see.
So they'll revoke the license?
Well, it just doesn't exist anymore. Most of the time, you have a...
yeah, but there's got to be a penalty for selling the thing that has been made prohibited to sell.
Nothing I've seen.
Okay.
Allowing products to be sold in the city increases access to these harmful and dangerous products and does not promote the city's image as a healthy city, the ordinance reads. Have you ever heard an ordinance explain itself before? This thing's scolding me.
Yeah, it's not uncommon.
I've never heard this.
The idea is they're putting in their intentions. They're writing their intentions into the ordinance to make it more clear.
I guess I'm surprised that these people decided to take the time to wag their finger at me, the process. Local business owners oppose the measure, arguing that it would harm sales and could force employee layoffs. Meanwhile, public health advocates argue that the benefits to public health outweigh the negative impact a ban could have on retail sales. Council members Lily Bossy said the bill aligns with Beverly Hills' image as a healthy city. Well, thank goodness for that image.
See, now all the other cities are unhealthy by comparison.
Yeah.
So the other cities are going to jump on board now. And because this point was actually made while Keene, New Hampshire, which is the little town where we live here in Keene, or in New Hampshire, when they passed earlier this year, I believe it was, a prohibition on selling and possession of tobacco and nicotine products to people who are under the age of 21, so essentially raising the age locally to people, again, statewide it's 18, but here in Keene it is now 21 and up for purchasing tobacco products. And somebody who I think was rightfully opposed to this pointed out, well, why don't you go ahead and just make it 100? If you want to claim that you're so healthy or whatever, why stop at 21? And so apparently that's what Beverly Hills has done, gone all the way.
Now, I don't think that the unintended or the consequences of this are lost on these people. Basically, what they have done,
the politicians?
The politicians here. They have impoverished the people who run the gas stations and convenience stores of Beverly Hills. And I don't know the names of the surrounding towns, but, whatever they are, they have enriched those particular people. Because that's what's going to happen here. People are going to drive a little farther to get their product, and then they're going to bring it back in and do the same things that they've always done.
The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. If you support cigarette bans, we definitely want to hear from you. This is Free Talk Live. More coming up.
Are you concerned that the values that made America great are no longer taught in schools? Well, I am, so I got my son the Tuttle Twins children's book series.
My name is Jack, and I'm 11, and I just finished the Tuttle Twins series. It taught me about liberty, free market economics, and entrepreneurship.
Give all the young people in your life a chance at reason and clear thought, because they're not going to get it at school. There are 9 books in the series, and each one teaches a set of ideas that children aren't getting elsewhere. Go to TuttleTwins.com and use coupon code FTL to get 40% off. That's TuttleTwins.com. I believe the crypto winter is over. That, if true, means that crypto prices may be on the rise and more news will be on the horizon. Get the latest and freshest crypto news at news.bitcoin.com. They have a real staff that does real reporting, not the rehashed stuff you're getting from most crypto news outlets. I am proud and happy to say that news.bitcoin.com is my first stop for all news crypto related. News.bitcoin.com. Don't forget that you can get a free Bitcoin Cash wallet and free Bitcoin Cash at free.bitcoin.com. Free crypto at free.bitcoin.com.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it.
Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want here. We're talking about cigarettes prohibition. Well, it hasn't gone that far yet, but that's the next step. Beverly Hills, California's City Council unanimously voted to prohibit the sales of cigarettes from places like gas stations and grocery stores, and then they left out, or they specially exempted, hotels. Not really sure why that was.
If you're traveling there, maybe you don't want to leave, you don't have a car.
I thought you said the city's super small. It's probably not that far to go to, a convenience store.
You're not going to walk.
I don't know.
The convenience store doesn't have cigarettes.
I know that now, or at least as of January, 2021?
That's why they're leaving it at hotels.
And also the, presumably somebody on the hotel lobby is best friends with the city councilors. That's why they're doing it.
I will make the argument that this law really only successfully does one thing, which is put the convenience stores, those kind of convenience stores, the ones that make their money on cigarettes, beer, and lotto tickets.
That's like almost all convenience stores.
Well, yeah. I don't go into them very much because they don't have anything I want. But nonetheless, they're just putting the ones in Beverly Hills out of business because everybody's just going to go to the next ones, and they've done nothing else. This whole, we have a clean image now. No, you don't.
Mm-hmm.
You have the image of putting poor people, because convenience stores are generally not owned by the wealthiest people. These are people who are working to make a better life for themselves.
By the way, coming up in July, on the 17th through the 20th, we are going to be in Vegas for Freedom Fest, the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. Their theme this year is the Wild West, liberty and opportunity, or lawlessness and violence. Guest speakers include Penn Jillette, Lenore Skenazy, Candace Owens, John Mackey, Kevin O'Leary, Kevin Harrington, Stephen Moore, Grover Norquist, and a bunch,
Mr. Norquist to you.
And a bunch of others, I suspect. You can go to freedomfest.com/FTL to learn more about the debate that'll be bringing together a large range of people, from libertarians to conservatives liberals, anarchists, capitalists, and others who might be open-minded to learn more about each other over at freedomfest.com/FTL. You can use coupon code FTL50, FTL50, and get a discount on your ticket. It's freedomfest.com/FTL, and that's also where you can watch the the best 5 speeches from last year, including Judge Napolitano, Alan Dershowitz, Charlie Kirk, Heather McDonald, and John Mackey. So go to freedomfest.com/FTL. It'll be at the Hotel Paris in Vegas, July 17th through the 20th, and we will be broadcasting Free Talk Live from the event. So we'll look forward to seeing you there. We're talking about the news out of Beverly Hills, California, where I guess you're right, Mark. I shouldn't be shocked by this. It's just, I suppose, inevitable given the hatred that people have for cigarettes, and I'm not a fan of them, okay?
No, I don't like them either.
I've smoked a few here and there in my life, and they don't make me feel particularly good, and I don't smoke them at this time in my life, but I would like the freedom to be able to go and purchase a pack of cigarettes if that's what I want to do.
I used to smoke cigars, and
also that is banned. From the sales of them in Beverly Hills.
Also, and I like the notion of smoking a cigar, sort of the image and the feeling. But when I do it, I just feel yucky.
Yeah, after the fact or during.
So no, I'm not going to be doing that any longer because I don't do things that make me feel bad.
Yeah, I saw you actually while we were in New York City in Manhattan. You actively chose to not. There was a cigar shop that we walked by, and you were like, "Oh, cigars," and you kind of had the thought go through your mind, and then you said, "No, I don't want to do that. It makes me feel bad."
Yeah, it does make me feel bad. Yeah, makes me feel ill.
So, I mean, there's no doubt this is a learning process for all of us, and we should be able to learn these things on our own through whatever experiences we have in our life. We don't need politicians telling us how to live, but yet that's what they think they were elected to do. And, of course, there's plenty of cheerleaders out there who are cheering these folks on. Now, whether or not any of them will actually call this show is a whole other question. Our phones are open for you. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Are you willing to kill for your beliefs? Are you willing to see store owners murdered by the police because they sell cigarettes?
Well, they won't be store owners because the store owners are too invested, right? So they're just going to be like, well, I guess what we sell at these convenience stores is now soda pop, beer, and lotto tickets. We don't sell tobacco products anymore. And maybe we'll be able to compete with the ones out of town, and maybe we won't. Certainly some of us will go under, and if I can hold out longer, then I'll take the non-smoking people that make the terrible choices. And that's it. That's how that's going to go for these people. But there will be people who make it a little easier on themselves or on other people by traveling outside of Beverly Hills and then bringing back tobacco products and then selling them at a small markup. Now, I'm not going to call those people drug dealers, but ultimately that's what they are.
Nicotine is a drug. It is a mind-altering substance.
They're not going to think of themselves that way. And it's probably there's the profit margins there for people driving outside, because if a pack of cigarettes, what do they cost now? $15 a pack? I have no idea.
In California, I'm not sure. And in New York, that may be true. In the city, like probably $12, $13, $15.
I don't know. Let's say they're $10 a pack.
Okay.
So if you raise it to 15, maybe some people will say, okay, give me the pack of cigarettes. And then some of these times I'll manage to get outside the city and I'll buy a carton or whatever, if they can put together the life skills to get the money to get an entire carton of cigarettes, whatever that might be. And, but if they say instead of $10 a pack, I'm charging $35 a pack or $50 a pack, then people are going to be like, oh, man, no, I'm going to find somebody who's either selling them a little less costly.
Where are the Indians?
Or they're going to go, they're going to figure out, they're going to take an Uber and get their own cigarettes.
So if you want to join the show, you're welcome to do so. Mark, was there more from your story, like some, maybe some choice quotes from the city council members or anything else you wanted to share about this?
I've got another one here. Local business owners oppose the measures, arguing it would harm sales and could force employee layoffs. Duh.
It could.
Let's see, the council member...
I don't know what percentage of a given convenience store's business is cigarette sales, but I bet it's not insignificant.
Of what, for a convenience store?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. That's I mean, they basically ought to call these places the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, right? I mean,
except you probably can't buy guns.
You can't buy guns there, no.
But certainly not in California.
They're just places where you buy sodas, beer, tobacco, and lotto tickets. There's a few things that you might possibly need,
candy.
But I don't think that they make much money on those. I can't imagine that the motor oil and the loaf of bread and those kind of things. Maybe the snacks. Maybe those gas station donuts, little powdery ones.
Well, they're probably doing all right. I mean, I bet you they're doubling their money on those items. I mean, they're not exactly cheap.
Yeah, but they're not selling many of them.
I see what you're saying.
So anyway, Lily here, Bossy, the council member.
That's her name,
yeah,
Bossy.
Yeah, that's her name. I thought this was just truly a landmark moment for our city and for our community. Thomas Bryant, on the other hand, executive director of the National Association for Tobacco Outlets, said this unfairly penalizes local gas stations and convenience stores.
Right, and it's going to drive everybody to the cigar shops, which they exempted the 3 cigar shops that are in there, or that are in Beverly Hills, so they'll get all the business.
Yeah, actually, he says tobacco products make up more than a third of convenience stores' in-store sales.
Okay, thank you. I was wondering about that. The toll-free number here is 855-450, free like freedom. If you're working in convenience stores in Beverly Hills, start looking for a new job.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
The United States of Empire is a book that claims the United States is the empire of the world. George Washington had warned us against foreign wars. The United States of Empire shows that World Wars I and II left England broken. Its former colony, the U.S., had to save the empire. Was there ever a vote? Who do we fight for? The deep state began with World War I. The United States of Empire by James Dunn. Available at Amazon Books.
Email is easy, instant, and free, and that can be real embarrassing. Email lacks the eye contact and body language you get in face-to-face conversation, or the tone of voice and other nuance you hear in a telephone conversation. Email is just words, often few words. We're all smothering in spam, so we often reply in terse fashion that's easy to misunderstand. And email doesn't cost you a postage stamp, and it lacks the deliberation time it'd take to walk to the snail mail box, so it's easy to succumb to the "oh yeah" stimulus response trap. When in doubt, don't snap back at snippy messages you get. You may have mistaken the sender's intent. And unless you're sending AOL to AOL, there's no unsend. For more tips on critical communication skills for the way things are now, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live, the show where anyone can call about whatever they want. And we do mean anyone.
The first point is it's legal, and that's important. Now, my question to you would be, they gassed Jews legally in Germany. Was that a good law?
Well, I don't know. I don't live in Germany.
Come on.
You don't know?
You don't know whether it was a good idea to gas Jews. You don't know whether it was a good idea to incarcerate Japanese Americans during World War II.
What does that have to do with them crossing the borders of the United States
I'm
of
making
America?
a point, and I'm drawing a parallel, and it's a clear parallel, and you're dodging it. Do good people disobey bad laws, Buck?
No.
Good people do not disobey bad laws?
Criminals dodge the law.
Buck, wait a second. What if they outlawed guns in your state? Would you turn yours in, Buck?
Oh, absolutely, in a minute.
You would? Well, I'm sorry. You're a fascist. Bye.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Is Free Talk Live. You may join us here. The toll-free number, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. So jump into one of those if you would like to sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio with us, and in the studio with you, it's Ian.
And Mark.
Mark, mymagicmud.com. That is where you can go to get an amazing product that you've had incredible results with.
Yeah, I love My Magic Mud. As a matter of fact, I brought it on our most recent trip to New York because, well, I tend not to travel without it. But let me tell you about it a little bit. It is a black powder. Remember how toothpastes used to, or well, there wasn't toothpaste. Tooth products used to be powders. Well,
boy, that goes back before my time.
Yeah, it's mine too. But I remember AIM, Crest when I was a kid, the commercials. This powder, you just kind of dip your toothbrush in it, and it's black, and it's charcoalized coconut husks and bentonite clay, which sounds crazy, but I've been using it for years now. And I won't be without it. It makes not only does it whiten your teeth, gets the stains off in my case. I drink a good deal of coffee. But it also makes my teeth just feel cleaner. I can tell the difference if I haven't brushed with My Magic Mud for a week. So go check it out. You can get it, by the way, you can get My Magic Mud at just about any old place out there. They've got it at health food stores, Sprouts, CVS, Natural Grocers, and Walmart's Natural Beauty aisle. But I can get you a 20% discount if you're enticed, and you should be. If you listen to one thing I say, I love this product. It's great. mymagicmud.com. And you go there and buy it with coupon code FTL20. mymagicmud.com, coupon code FTL20, and you get 20% off. It's great.
Amazing.
You'll love it. mymagicmud.com, coupon code FTL20.
I use their toothpaste. It's upstairs right now here in the bathroom.
Yeah, they have other great products. The tooth powder to me is the sort of central one.
That was their original.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, so you can bring up whatever you want here. Not surprisingly, Mark, not a single tobacco prohibitionist was willing to call in and go to bat in favor of this ban, which they favor it. They're just not willing to, to take that side publicly, I guess.
Well,
the ban on sales of tobacco and nicotine, including e-juice and e-cigarettes, in Beverly Hills, California.
But why should they call in? I mean,
because I guess you're saying they're winning, so why should they?
If you have the law, if you have the government on your side, if you have the state doing what you want to do, there's no reason to argue your position. You needn't. There's look when the soldier is placing his boot on the citizen of the town that they're rapine and pillaging. He doesn't ask. He doesn't make an argument. He does not have to engage in a conversation. He needn't. He does what he wishes, and that's essentially what's being done here. The power of the state is being employed against these owners of convenience stores inside Beverly Hills, and they don't have the political power to have stopped it. I guess the hotels did. I guess the cigar bars did. But the convenience stores, the grocery stores, the drug stores, why a drugstore sells tobacco products is beyond me. But
they want to make money.
Well, okay,
it is a drug.
Yes, it's these are places of healing.
No, they're
think
not.
They
There's candy there too.
Good point.
Let's continue and go to your calls, your thoughts. You can bring up whatever you want here. So let's talk to Sarah in New Mexico. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live on the Live Saturday show. Go ahead.
Yes, we have a new gay pride rainbow-colored painted crosswalk on Central now.
Okay.
Yes, and it actually costed like $30,000.
Jesus.
To paint some pavement?
Well, I mean, my most concern is how did it improve pedestrian safety? You're right. If they're going to spend that kind of money just to put rainbow colors, I have no idea how.
Go grab a couple cans of paint from Home Depot or a local paint store or something like that. It wouldn't cost more than a couple $100.
Let the gay folks decorate it if they want a special crosswalk for them, and I'm sure it'll be fabulous by the time they're done.
No doubt about it. And a fraction of the cost.
No doubt.
As well, if they raised it voluntarily. That's insane.
It'll be beautiful. It'll have a nice haircut, and it'll be happy when it leaves.
Thanks for the call, Sarah. It reminds me of the stupid thin blue line that they painted down one of the streets here in Keene, New Hampshire a couple of years ago. Right down the middle of the street, in between the yellow lines, they painted it blue because that's the road that leads to the police department.
It's also a violation of what the National Traffic Safety Bureau's rules on.
Yeah, but what are they going to do? Sue the city of Keene?
Apparently not.
Nope. It's still there. It's a little faded by now, but it's still there.
Mm-hmm.
Your toll-free number here, if you want to join us, is 855-450-FREE. But, Mark, if you were to actually go and try to paint a new crosswalk, they would probably arrest you.
They could. There are plenty of instances where your average citizen goes out and, fills a pothole or paints a road or does a variety of things, and usually they manage to get away with it, or in some cases, depending on the size of the town, they're thanked for it. But there are instances where
Does that happen? Where people actually get thanked for improving the roads without government permission?
Sure. It does happen.
I've never heard of it.
Well,
I guess it wouldn't make news headlines.
Not as much news,
right?
But yeah, there are.
We've seen stories of people filling potholes getting arrested.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And at that point, you're taking jobs from hardworking government agents, or you may do it wrong, or whatever.
That's the claim is that you're just not authorized, or you might do it wrong, or something like that.
You might do it wrong, even if you did it right, because they can't arrest you till you did it right, and then so we'll know whether you did it wrong or not. And then, of course, there's all the pictures out there of the government doing it wrong, or the people that they hired doing it wrong. Like the dead possum getting the line painted across it, or somebody just goes around a tree branch. The person painting just goes around a tree branch that's laying in the road. A whole bunch of stories out
Remember the old guy who got in trouble for building a set of stairs down a hill? There was an incline in his town. It was at a park. He built a set of stairs to make it easier for, let's say, older folks who aren't as mobile to walk down that area, and they forced. I don't think they made him disassemble it, but they sent their agents out and took that thing apart.
Whoa! This does not comply with the American with Disabilities Act, or whatever.
It's dangerous.
It's got to get it out of here. Well, we need old people rolling down this hill. It's important.
So, this stuff happens all the time, and it's a shame, too, because people should be able to just, if they see something wrong and they have the ability to fix it, and they have the drive and the inclination to get out there and help improve their community by painting a new crosswalk or filling in a pothole or more than one pothole or whatever, then I don't understand what the problem is there. It's almost like it's making the government look bad, and they don't like that. They don't like being upstaged by somebody who's able to do it for, free, volunteering their time, and whatever small amount of costs that the individual themselves has absorbed in order to do it. So no cost to the community.
I think it basically comes down to the lawyers who are willing to sue based on just about anything. And try to imagine for a second, ladies and gentlemen.
You mean they would sue the town for the the bad job somebody did or something?
Yeah. Imagine what things would have been like if the Great Fire of Chicago or the earthquake that destroyed San Francisco had occurred today. Well, in these instances, people in their communities stepped up and rebuilt these great cities. There are plenty of instances where disasters destroyed cities, even American cities, change the course of history. But, Chicago, San Francisco, big, huge cities because their people were able to, heave to and rebuild. And they did. If the lawyers had been there then, my God. There would be nothing left of those places. They'd be ghost towns.
So I've got a little bit of good news coming up. Also, we'll take your calls and thoughts about anything that you want. So we had the bad news about Beverly Hills passing a cigarette and nicotine ban, or as far as sales.
Product, yeah.
Yeah, the nicotine products as well, not just tobacco. But ban on sales. There's a little bit of good news actually coming out of California in the city of Oakland, of all places, and we'll share that with you come up here, and you can share your thoughts with us on whatever's on your mind at 855-450-FREE like freedom. This is Free Talk Live.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
Let me ask you something. What are you doing when you put money in a 401k or IRA, or store jumper cables in your vehicle, or purchase health insurance? You're preparing. You're preparing to ensure you have enough money for retirement. You're preparing for when your car battery dies, or to have assistance paying a major unexpected medical bill. That all makes sense. The same goes for building a food storage plan. You're preparing for when emergencies or disasters strike and shelves go empty at your grocery store. The best way to prepare is with My Patriot Supply. They've helped 1 million hardworking Americans become more self-sufficient. My Patriot Supply sells hundreds of items, including dozens of emergency food kits at MyPatriotSupply.com. It could be an earthquake, a cyber attack freezing our banking system, or a disaster that shuts down our power grid for weeks. For all these emergencies and more, get your supplies and prepare today at MyPatriotSupply.com. No more rushing to find empty store shelves because you're too late. Do it now so you're ready. MyPatriotSupply.com.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event, even with coupon code FTLEB. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTLEB for a discount.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5.
Live video of our key New Hampshire-based shows is streamed on DLive. Please follow and share at dlive.lrn.fm. That's dlive.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live, the live Saturday edition. For you, you can take control of the airwaves. You can bring up whatever's on your mind. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. It's 855-450-3733. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
And don't forget, you can help Free Talk Live get out there further than we ever have. We're on over 200 radio stations right now. We just hit that milestone within the last few weeks. And then shortly thereafter, just this week, actually, we were announced on the Talkers Heavy 100, as it is called. This is the list of what Talkers Magazine, which is the kind of the industry publication of note. It's actually the only one left at this point, but they've always been the big one. And they've named us at number 26 on the Heavy 100 this year.
That's nice.
Moving up from number 27, where we were last year. We've now been on the list for 11 years straight. We started in 2009 at the very bottom. I think we were 97 or 99 or something when we started on the list. And we've moved up slowly.
We were 98 when we started on the list.
Okay.
And what's great is we've been climbing the charts the whole time.
That's true.
When you'll know it's over when we stall out at that same number, right? Because once you stop, the likelihood of going up from there,
right.
Not so much.
Yeah, I mean, we're probably not going to be beating Rush or the top 5 anytime soon.
Oh, we will beat Rush because one day he'll
die.
Retire. You're only 38 years old.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But Sean Hannity is a good example. He of To the Counter. He went up to number 2 and just stayed there for years behind Rush.
Mm-hmm.
And then very recently, the last list, not this most recent one, he then made it to number 1.
And he's still there this year.
Yeah.
So we're at number 26, and so thank you to folks over at Talkers Magazine for that. Really appreciate it. In fact, that's just where we got back from last night, Mark. We were at their convention that they hold yearly in Manhattan. That was where we were for Friday. That's when the day was of the convention. Went up there on Thursday night, which is kind of an interesting story on its own because we stayed in a hotel / rooming house. At hotels, it operates like a hotel. There's a front desk and there's hotel staff and all that, but it's one of those places where there's shared showers on the floors.
Yep.
So each room doesn't have its own shower. That makes it more like, it's not a hostel. It's not like a place where dirty hippies stay, but at the same time, not that I have anything against hippies, but it's like between hotel, like nice hotel, and hostel, somewhere in between, more towards the hotel range.
Well, and there's different hostels out there. They aren't all some large room with people who have not showered. Some of them have rooms too. So
that's true.
It's not unlike a hostel. Not it is an unusual place, but it was cheap.
It was cheap. We were in Manhattan, where normally you can't find a hotel for less than $280 a night. This was $164 with no tax. So I feel like we really did a good job at conserving the Free Talk Live amp dollars when we went on this trip because we talk about how the Free Talk Live amplifiers, which are the listeners who contribute $5 a month to the show, at least over at amp.freetalklive.com, they are the ones who send us through their donations to this event. And they have this was now I think our 14th year attending this particular event.
Wow.
So thank you to our Free Talk Live amplifiers for making it possible. But we always try to keep our costs down, at least as far as the hotel is concerned. And this is our cheapest year yet. Like we've been in a kind of a shared hotel experience before where it was like $180 a night, but then there's tax on top of every other hotel we've been to until this year because it's owned by the Catholic Church.
No taxes.
There's no room taxes. The city cannot tax them apparently for this, and I
guess the lesson here is if you're going to start a business, be a church first.
In that case, it was originally opened just for Catholics, but they expanded their
It's like a credit union.
Their view or their field of customer potential.
They offer
customers.
a service every morning at 7 a.m. Mass is what they call it, and I wish I'd have gotten up for it. I didn't.
And free hot breakfast as well, which was actually pretty darn good.
Nothing's free.
It's included in the price, Mark. So there's not an extra charge for it. And we also did not pay any tolls to get into Manhattan. So if you
can set your little gizmo for that, and it's possible.
So yeah, I mean our tax burden was basically only what we ate while we were in New York City, which I think is pretty that's an accomplishment, man. That's a badge of honor for me.
Libertarians living a life of misery in order to avoid taxes.
What? Well, it was not miserable.
We took longer to get into the city.
Not really.
A bit.
No, it's really not that much longer to get in. I mean, it's about 4 hours any way you go. because you're not waiting at a toll or anything like that. And the hotel was fine. Anyway, the toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE.
Hotel was great.
Yeah. And half the price of what you would normally pay. So if you want to help us out with the AMP program, though, and get some cool perks as a Free Talk Live listener, become a Free Talk Live amplifier at amp.freetalklive.com. It's ampamp.freetalklive.com. And by the way, want to say thanks to Jared Porcupine, who is a Free Talk Live Platinum amplifier, and really appreciate Jared and also Chris Hickman. Actually, I think they might have gotten mentioned last night, but they didn't check off, because we go down the list of all of our amplifiers who want to be mentioned, and we'd like to say thanks. So thanks for all of that, guys. Amp and gals, ampamp.freetalklive.com. Let's go to the phones to your calls and thoughts. It's Dennis in Myrtle Beach, listening to WRNN. Hello, Dennis.
Yes, sir. How you guys doing?
Hey, what's on your mind?
I love listening to you guys. This is the second time I got through to you.
It's not that hard.
I just had, yeah, I love you guys. I don't completely understand the libertarian concept to everything, but I agree with a whole lot of what you guys do. But
well, there's not that much to understand. I mean, before you go on with the point of your call, libertarianism. The idea is you just let other people live their lives how they want. So, hopefully you can be free to live your life how you want. That's sort of the rule of it. It's based on the non-aggression principle, the idea that no matter what you think about other folks and what they want to do, as long as they're not, creating a victim with their actions, if they're not harming somebody else, then it should be okay. They should be left alone.
I agree with that 100%.
All right, good. So go ahead with
that 100%.
What were you calling about tonight?
Well, I believe, I may be wrong, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you guys are against tariffs, basically against tariffs, right?
I'm against all taxes because for the same reason we just talked about it. It is essentially an aggression. It's the use of coercion or coercive force, or the threat of it, against people who want to do business with people elsewhere in the world. If I want to buy something or sell something to somebody in China or Russia or Iran or North Korea, I should be free to do that if this is a free country.
So, well, I understand that, but the problem is, the way I see it is, these other countries, they don't treat us the same way that we treat them. For instance, today, Mexico kind of caved in when Trump put that 5% tax on them. You're for open borders too, right?
I'm for freedom in all areas. So yes,
I think that
freedom to travel.
The term open borders. Hold on, before you go on, the term open borders suggests that people should be able to come to this country and get whatever they want, because this country is a socialized cesspool that gives out things for people who do no work. I don't support that. What I support is freedom.
Okay.
And in a free country, free people can cross the borders freely, or you don't have a free country. However, in a free country, I'm not forced to subsidize any of that crap.
Well, and I'm also for private borders, so I believe in private property. So if you want to put up a big old fence around your property, or combine together with other people who want to have a big old fence around their property, I mean, we have those. They're called gated neighborhoods, for instance, and that's totally fine by me. It's just, in that case, you got to pay for the security. You got to pay for the fence. All the people who want that stuff should pay for it, and the people who don't want it shouldn't have to.
Okay, but look at the way it's been the last couple of years on our southern borders, where these people that been coming across the borders from South America and different countries down there, and a lot of them don't speak English, and they don't really have decent educations, and they were free, basically just freely coming over our borders, and then we were holding them in our, we would only hold them for a certain amount of time, and then we had to fly them around the country and put them in different parts of the country. The problem I have is, I don't think you agree with that working out, because eventually we'd have so many people in this country, it would be like, I don't want to downtread India or anything, but we'd be so many people here.
Well, there's actually a whole lot of space. Just to be clear, in the United States, there's a ton of open space. In fact, most of it is owned by the federal government. They claim a bunch of property west of the Mississippi. I forget what percentage of it is, but it's like 2/3 or something of all the land west of the Mississippi, and they don't let anybody build there.
Countries used to want population because they understood that manpower meant more power for their country. Now we don't want it because, well, in the late 1800s, socialism really took hold, and now new people cost us money, not benefit us.
I think the conversation's interesting. I want to ask Dennis to hang on. We can continue it here in moments. Hour 2's next on Free Talk Live.
Would you like to get back that full head of hair from years past? Introducing Reveal from GCNLife.com. Beverly Hills dermatologist Dr. Nathan Newman invented Reveal, which contains polypeptides with natural botanicals and no parabens, sulfates, silicones, or dyes for a salon-quality hair growth product. Reveal. Here's Dr. Newman.
I have treated a lot of patients who lose their hair and they lose their confidence. We've created a unique set of polypeptides, which we call HPT6. The HPT6 contains the polypeptides from 6 different plants. The scalp infusion treatment should be used on wet or dry scalp. The Reveal hair care system is designed to be used for men and women alike.
Get Reveal at GCNLife.com with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So try Reveal today at GCNLife.com or 844-443-6637. Plus a discount up to 25% off for Reveal at GCNLife.com or 844-443-6637.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,341, silver at $15, and Bitcoin is trading around $8,041. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at InnoScale.net. In the news, the Federal Government Accountability Office has issued an update to its 2016 report on the FBI's use of facial recognition. The takeaway, which they also shared during a Congressional House Oversight Committee hearing, the FBI now has access to 641 million photos, including driver's license and ID photos, but it still refuses to assess the accuracy of its systems. Activist Post reports that the FBI's Facial Analysis Comparison and Evaluation Services Unit not only has access to FBI's Next Generation Identification Face Recognition database of nearly 30 million civil and criminal mugshot photos, it also has access to the State Department's visa and passport databases. The FBI has done little in the last 3 years to make sure that its search results are accurate, according to the new report. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. Metropolitan Police in London have arrested 4 teenagers involved in a reprehensible attack on 2 women who were left bloodied and hospitalized after being taunted for their sexuality. The Mind Unleashed reports the 4 males, aged 15 and 18, are being questioned on suspicion of robbery and aggravated grievous bodily harm or severe assault. That's according to a statement by the Met Police. Melanie Gaymanet, a 28-year-old Ryanair stewardess from Uruguay, shared a photo on Facebook of herself and her girlfriend Chris after they were assaulted by a group of men who began shouting at them and throwing coins. The couple had just gone on a date in Camden and were returning home early on May 30th when the 4 men began demanding they kiss each other in front of them. When the 2 refused to share an intimate moment for the entertainment of the hooligans, the young men and teens beat them, leaving them with serious facial injuries before also stealing their belongings. Hate crimes on the mass transportation network of the UK have doubled over the past 5 years, according to British Transport Police data. In what would be the first case of its kind, a Louisiana woman allegedly died from a THC overdose after vaping a large amount of cannabis oil. The Mind Unleashed, citing the New Orleans Advocate, reports that the otherwise healthy 39-year-old collapsed and died in her LaPlace apartment in February due to high levels of THC, the main psychoactive compound in cannabis. That's according to St. John Baptist Parish Coroner Christy Montague. The woman had healthy organs and no symptoms of illness or elevated traces of alcohol and drugs in her body. While THC can cause heart palpitations and extreme anxiety in some users, the federally funded National Institute of Drug Abuse has said that no recorded deaths have been attributable to marijuana overdose. Various experts have also cast doubt on the coroner's claims, describing his conclusion as highly unlikely. A former senior policy advisor at the White House Office of National Drug Control Policy noted that if such overdoses were possible, the growing amounts of cannabis consumption in the U.S. would have likewise risen. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
A report published this week found that a growing number of Americans are being forced to make ends meet by collaborating on songs with Miami-based rapper Pitbull. Citing rising income inequality and a turbulent job market, the report found many U.S. citizens moonlighting as recording artists, mixing drum beats, and guest starring on tracks for the Latin American producer.
It's exhausting, between being part of Pitbull's entourage anytime he's on a club tour and mixing new hooks for him every few nights. I barely see my wife anymore. It's not like I want to do another remix with Avicii, but we really need the money. Okay, sure. I need to get back to work.
In a groundbreaking find, paleontologists this week unearthed the earliest known dinosaur stickers on record. Reportedly discovered in a box labeled Greg's Room, the excavated remains of the reptile adhesives include such stunning specimens as a Triceratops featuring the words Dinos Rock, an Apatosaurus sticker, and the extremely rare puffy kind.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. You may take control of the airwaves here as we launch into the second hour of the live Saturday edition of the show. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. Jump into one of those. You'll sound almost like you're sitting here with us in the studio. And that's Ian.
And Mark.
As we go back to your phone calls and thoughts and kicking off the second hour, back with Dennis, who hung on the line through the news. Dennis, appreciate it because I think it's an important discussion. You brought up the tariffs, and then that led to a discussion about immigration and socialism and forced wealth redistribution. And I didn't feel like we had enough time to really discuss it. So thanks for hanging on. Are you still there?
Yes, I am.
All right, cool.
I had a question for you.
Sure.
What's your feelings on sanctuary cities and sanctuary states? Under the assumption that those states and cities won't turn over criminals, or they won't notify the ICE before they release criminals, known felons, back on the street. I was wondering what your feelings were on that.
Let's clarify what a sanctuary city or sanctuary county is. My understanding, given that we live in Keene, New Hampshire, here where we're doing the show, and that's Cheshire County, New Hampshire, and the sheriff here did come out with a sanctuary county policy. Generally, it is considered to be where they will not actively basically assist the federal government with their investigations of just people who are being looked for immigration reasons. It's not to say they won't assist them when they're looking for an actual criminal who's wanted for a crime. So
they don't hide criminals simply because criminals are immigrants.
Right.
They just don't look at immigration at the misdemeanor that it is as a crime that they're going to turn over to other law enforcement agencies. And the reason that they choose not to do that is because if somebody gets in an automobile accident, you want them to stick around like most folks do, but immigrants are going to run away because the automobile accident could turn into a deportation.
Just because somebody is a felon from whichever country they've received the equivalent of a felony doesn't mean that person continues to be a danger. Wouldn't you agree?
Except there's so many instances that I hear, unless they're lying to me on TV, where there's actual people that rape women and they abuse children, and they do atrocious crimes, and they get released without being notified, without notifying ICE. I mean, there's...
What you're saying is, hold on, just to be clear, you're saying these people aren't wanted for a rape. They have in the past committed a crime like rape or some other awful crime, and they're being released when only the thing they've been caught for is perhaps being an immigrant. They're not wanted for a rape. They're not an active under active investigation for rape, right? Just to clarify.
No, I think I'm listening wrong to what I'm hearing on TV.
Well, it's possible they're miscommunicating. Yeah, it's possible it's possible they're miscommunicating. There's a certain group of people out there who promote a crackdown on immigrants.
Right. The whole shtick is to say immigrants are scary and terrifying people. But when you look at, say, the Americans Conservative magazine went through a few years ago, and although it's difficult to figure out exactly whether or not illegal immigrants are committing certain crimes, because we just don't have those statistics, but we can find out whether or not, say, Hispanics commit more crimes or fewer crimes and that sort of thing. And what we found was that as far as a demographic goes, Hispanics, when you look at a demographic, say males 16 to 25, they don't commit crime any more often than regular Americans do. And so to sort of, I find, blowing up these stories and saying, these illegal immigrants, they've already committed the misdemeanor of wandering through the desert, so of course they'll rape our women, they will abuse our children, and they will murder you if they have to be demagoguery. Right? I mean, that's what it is. You don't have a career if you're in radio if your career is just making fun of poor people.
Well, Mark, you did something that you went to prison for back when you were a teenager.
When I was 17 years old, I got a conviction, a felony, and it wasn't pretty.
For a violent crime.
Yeah, I was there when somebody was harmed, and as a result, I can't go to Canada, and I just got turned around traveling to Japan.
But now, you're 48 now. You've put that bad life behind you. You've got a kid. You've got a wife. You're a respectable person these days. But that didn't get you in through the immigration process in Japan. They turned you around.
Yeah, and that's because governments are just bureaucracies. They're organizations that claim monopolies. They're inefficient, and they don't solve problems.
Here, I got a question for you, Dennis. What if this happened? That's a crazy question. It's never going to likely happen in our lifetime. But what if the United States government ended their welfare program, whatever different welfare programs they have? They just put an end to it. Let the charities, let churches, let individuals help people who need help on a voluntary basis. So end all the government forced wealth redistribution programs. And then they let go of all their property that they're holding on to, the 2/3 or whatever of the land west of the Mississippi that the government claims for its own. Let's say they just let it open, said, all right, homesteaders, come on in. And then they opened up the borders, got rid of all the crazy border patrol stuff, and then people could just come here and migrate here and settle somewhere, wherever it is that they were allowed to settle. Would that be an objectionable thing to you?
No, not as long as they're not causing us expense as far as free medical and free housing and all.
So
those
your real
things.
issue,
We got people living in the streets and tents.
No doubt, I saw it in Manhattan. We saw people laying on the streets there just
Nobody
yesterday.
seems to worry about them.
Well,
I
don't want help.
Anything about them.
Look, I've been to Seattle, I've been to Portland. If those people wanted jobs, they could get them.
Yeah, they don't want help.
Yeah.
Those folks. But so it sounds to me, Dennis, that you're upset about the forced wealth redistribution programs, the government welfare programs.
We have a welfare problem in this country, not an immigration problem.
And so it's important to place the blame where it belongs. The blame belongs on the politicians. The blame belongs on the Republicans and Democrats who continue to pursue these programs. The Republicans claim they're for small government. They don't ever do anything about it. They continue to support these things like Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, all this crap that forces people into this one-size-fits-all system and punishes them if they don't want to participate. And then that leads to people being angry because those programs are then being given, or some of them are being given, to immigrants. And then they misfocus their anger on the immigrants themselves when the problem is with the politicians. And so then as a result, what you get are people calling for greater immigration restrictions rather than calling to end welfare. And then if you want more immigration restrictions, well, there's only one thing that's going to lead to, and that's a police state. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't want to live in a police state. Do you?
No, but there's a process that my ancestors had to go through.
Not all of them.
To come to this country.
Do you know what the process is like now by comparison? Because it's way worse now. It's not like you just stop off somewhere, give them your name, and waltz into the country like it used to be. Now it's a ridiculous bureaucracy of applications and fees and approvals and bureaucrats and meetings and schedules and lawyers and waiting and waiting and waiting and more fees and then more waiting and more obedience.
Well, hold on. And one more thing is that we're presuming that the organization that claims to rule us, the United States government, knows the right amount of people to let into the country. This is an organization that cannot keep drugs out of its own prisons, but somehow knows, like magically, the right amount of people to bring into the country. No, they're not. They're unaccountable bureaucrats, and they act like it.
But can I make a statement here? I agree with 100% with what you're saying. But the way the laws are right now, and until we get them changed, we got so many of our own people that don't get 3 square meals a day. They're living on the streets, and if thousands of people are pouring across our borders every day, and they don't have jobs, and most of them can't speak English.
Well, many of them do get jobs. Just to be clear, they're more than happy to work.
I shouldn't be taxed to pay for an American citizen, and I shouldn't be taxed to pay for a non-American citizen.
And Americans are not skipping meals.
I don't owe somebody just because they were born inside the United States.
Dennis, good call. Thanks for making it. We got more coming up here on Free Talk Live.
Is oral health important to you? If you don't like your own teeth, fresh breath, or kissing people, then by all means, stop listening. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I became passionate about the product that she created and never want to live without it. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, but I find it does much more. They want you to love My Magic Mud as much as I do, so they're giving you a money-back guarantee plus 20% off. Go to mymagicmud.com and use coupon code FTL20 at checkout. mymagicmud.com, FTL20.
I can definitely say that I have found the best cryptocurrency wallet. Certainly the best named one. I'm Mark Edge, and I love the Edge wallet. I've been using it for the last few months. You can buy, sell, trade, and hold your cryptocurrency securely. I trust my holdings of all the major cryptocurrencies to Edge wallet, and you should too. No long phrases to memorize, just a username and password. Secure your freedom with Edge wallet. Get it now on Apple or Android in the App Store or at edge.app. Are you
you concerned that the values that made America great are no longer taught in schools? Well, I am, so I got my son the Tuttle Twins children's book series.
My name is Jack, and I'm 11, and I just finished the Tuttle Twins series. It taught me about liberty, free market economics, and entrepreneurship.
Give all the young people in your life a chance at reason and clear thought, because they're not going to get it at school. There are 9 books in the series, and each one teaches a set of ideas that children aren't getting elsewhere. Go to TuttleTwins.com and use coupon code FTL to get 40% off. That's TuttleTwins.com. I believe the crypto winter is over. That, if true, means that crypto prices may be on the rise and more news will be on the horizon. Get the latest and freshest crypto news at news.bitcoin.com. They have a real staff that does real reporting, not the rehash stuff you're getting from most crypto news outlets. I am proud and happy to say that news.bitcoin.com is my first stop for all news crypto related. News.bitcoin.com. Don't forget that you can get a free Bitcoin Cash wallet and free Bitcoin Cash at free.bitcoin.com. Free crypto at free.bitcoin.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. You can join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
So you can join us and bring up whatever's on your mind, although we ended up talking about tariffs and immigration. And I actually had the story in my show prep tonight about Donald Trump and his alleged deal with Mexico to drop the plans for the U.S. tariffs that he had announced last week or the week before, saying that they were going to have escalating tariffs on Mexico unless they did something about immigrants. And so Trump is saying, well, they're going to do something. And the New York Times is saying, well, apparently what the Mexicans have said they're going to do, they'd already agreed to do in previous discussions. So there's some confusion about exactly what's going on there, and we'll get into it in a little more detail when we get a chance. Ian and Mark here in the studio. By the way, I had the chance to use my Edge wallet again today, since we're back in Keene, New Hampshire, the crypto mecca, and it's super easy to spend cryptocurrency.
Couldn't find any place in New York that was
honestly
accepted.
We didn't look.
Yeah.
Did you?
No, we didn't find it.
We didn't look.
Well, we looked at stores as we walked by.
That's not the way you look for crypto accepting places, Mark. You got to go check the map at like anypaymap.com, for instance. That's one of them. There's a bunch of crypto maps out there that kind of show you where the places are that take cryptocurrency. But if you're ready to spend cryptocurrency or save it, trade it, securely hold it, to buy it, you can do it all from Edge Wallet. And you can get your copy on your Google or Apple app stores. It's available for iOS and Android devices, and it supports a bunch of cryptocurrencies, not just the original Bitcoin, but also Bitcoin Cash and Ethereum, Ethereum tokens, Monero, Ripple, Stellar, and more. They're a veteran team, and they've been building wallets since 2014. Their tagline, secure your freedom with edge.app. It's user-controlled. You own your money. You're responsible for it. Edge.app, and it's a super easy-to-use wallet. It's a great one for first-time users, and it's also, I'm an experienced user of crypto, and I love it. I use it more often than any other wallet, and I did that before they were a sponsor on Free Talk Live, long before they became a sponsor here. Big fan. Edge.app is their website, or just download it from the Google or Apple App Store as we continue here. Of course, talking about immigration, obviously people feel very strongly about this subject, and it is one that is, I think, massively misunderstood and misdirected, where people are frequently blaming immigrants for problems created by the government. Welfare is a problem, and that is a government problem, a government-created problem. It is one that none of the politicians want to suggest to end. Right? Because if some politician gets out there and says, we need to end government welfare, well, then people in the United States are going to be like, but what about my Social Security? What about my fill-in-the-blank program that they are looking forward to or taking advantage of?
Social Security is a different program. I mean, that's a retirement program that you were, forced to pay into.
But it's not your money you're taking out of it.
Well, it's not.
It's the younger people's money.
Agreed.
So they're subsidizing your retirement.
I don't think that the government can steal my money for 40 years with the promise of handing me enough money to pay for dog food when I retire, and then choose to stop giving it to me. They
can do whatever they want. They can raise the age of
they can do whatever they want, but when you advocate for it, you're advocating for something, in my opinion, which is even worse than what the government's doing.
When I advocate for what?
Them stopping Social Security.
Yeah, I'd love that, because then every young person would get to keep 13% of whatever it is they are getting paid that's being taken out of their paychecks. It would be an
What you should advocate for is the freedom to stop contributing to Social Security if you want. If the government wants to set up the world's worst retirement program and people want to participate in it, then by all means, they should be able to.
Okay.
I don't want to stop that.
Fair enough.
But, it's a bad program, and but to take it away, just say, let's get rid of Social Security. Well, come on now. Lots of people paid into this thing, and they deserve whatever it is that the government should
is not obligated to pay. I agree with you. They should pay out. They're not obligated to.
Well,
you can't sue them if they raise the age from 65 to 70.
When you say obligated, you're talking from a legal standpoint.
That's right.
They are morally obligated because they stole
don't have
from
morals.
you.
They're the government.
They're people. They're not the government, okay? There is no thing called the government. They're just a bunch of rapacious, irresponsible people,
Those people don't have morals.
doing whatever the hell they want at the behest of
if they give you a
mindless
check, you're lucky.
myrmidons. What's that?
If they give you a check, count yourself as lucky.
Agreed. You're lucky
You're lucky if you can buy a bag of dog food with the check, because they're not obligated to increase it based on inflation either. So over time, the amount of money that they end up giving you is probably going to be worth less and less.
Yeah, it's what we can see here is that the population of Americans has been having children less and less often. So the people out here that are worried about immigrants, they ought to be trying to get as many in the country as possible to be able to pay their Social Security.
Right. So what you end up getting with people, the last caller pointed out that welfare is not going to go away. So in the meantime, we need to have all these restrictions or whatever, while at the same time saying he agreed with libertarianism, which clearly is not the case. But
not understanding entirely. I would agree with the caller that the likelihood that you can grow the government by saying we need to keep the immigrants out is higher than the likelihood that you're going to shrink the government by saying that welfare is the problem, not immigration.
Yeah. But then you're going to get a police state, okay? So if you want to keep the immigrants out, you're going to get a police state.
But it's easy to get a bigger government because the government officials want a bigger government.
That's right. And plenty of people want to have a bigger government because they want the government to do what they want it to do. They may not like it doing other things, but they don't feel like they can stop it from doing those things. So in the meantime, they want to build an immigration control bureaucracy, which is apparently, for their liking, not big enough. They want to have more border patrol. They want to have more checkpoints. Oh, wait, you don't want to have checkpoints? Well, sorry, you've already got checkpoints, and you're going to get more of them if you want to have border enforcement.
Immigration is the same problem as healthcare. The government inserted itself into a situation where there was really no problem.
Mm-hmm.
And they found a few little things and said, hey, there's a few little problems here. We're going to insert ourselves. And then the problems got bigger and bigger and bigger, largely because of the government inserting itself. These as I said, unaccountable criminals.
And people want to see more of it.
Claim to rule you. As they inserted themselves, they
You think the government did a good job with healthcare? Because if you think they did a terrible job with healthcare, and I think they did, they screwed up that industry. They've regulated the crap out of it, and they've made it super expensive. And
well, we could look at some areas of healthcare where they haven't inserted themselves. We can look at things like, plastic surgery.
Mm-hmm.
We can look at LASIK surgery.
Sure. Prices
we can look
have
at
come down on
veterinary
those.
medicine. We can look at a variety of them, and we can see that there's better and better medicine being provided at less and less of a cost over time because. Well,
that's not true for the rest of it because they've gotten into the business of healthcare for the most part, far and wide, and they've absolutely ruined that industry. We were looking at statistics earlier this week showing dramatic increases in costs in the healthcare industry, and that's all because of government regulations and just destroying that business and making it so the advancements are much slower to come because you have to ask government permission first. You got some new thing you want to do, you got a new pill you want to create or some new therapy or whatever. You got to make sure the government approves it first. And of course, that means it costs billions of dollars more than it otherwise should, and that it raises the prices. And we can go on and on about how the government has ruined the healthcare business. Now you want them to get involved in immigration? What do you think is going to happen? You think they're going to do a good job?
Nope. They're going to mess it up.
Are they going to be efficient?
They're going to benefit their friends.
I
They're
just
going
saw
to punish their enemies.
I saw news stories about like little children dying in the custody of the customs people.
It is happening.
Of immigration. Is that what you want to see?
It's not customs yet.
It's Customs and Border Enforcement or Border Patrol.
They also have
CBP.
ICE.
There's more coming up here. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You can bring up what you want, and it's Free Talk Live.
Do the letters IRS give you anxiety? I'm Dan Pilla. I've defended people from the IRS for more than 40 years. My book, How to Get Tax Amnesty, created the tax resolution industry and is responsible for helping hundreds of thousands of people. It can help you too. If you're a non-filer or facing IRS enforcement right now, your case is unique. You need real help, not cookie-cutter advice. My clients get my personal attention. Buy my book at danpilla.com and get a free consultation directly with me. That's danpilla.com. Let's start solving your tax problem right now.
Hi, this is Dr. Joel Wallach, the Mineral Doctor. You've heard me talk about 90 for Life for years. 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, 2 fatty acids. You may not know this, that I've actually designed Arthrodex for animals. That's right. Your pets need 90 for Life too. Get this essential pet product by calling 877-279-9422. That's 877-279-9422. Again, 877-279-9422.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way.
You can't do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me.
Well, I'm comfortable here, actually.
Whoa, hey, who do you think you are?
Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today. This is...
You ain't gonna make it.
Wait a minute.
Holy crap.
Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
Why are you running from me? Because you scared me.
What
am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this?
Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com.
Did you know you can legally exit the U.S. federal income tax system? Well, it's true, and thousands of American nationals are doing it. The 16th Amendment and the Internal Revenue Code are legal, but only in a limited jurisdiction. This is the basis behind the voluntary nature of the income tax. Learn the exit strategy provided by Congress. Find out more by visiting weissparis.com and watch our numerous videos. That's WEISS Paris.com.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live Saturday edition here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And it's Ian here.
And Mark. Well, I want to tell you about American Finance. Look, if you're looking to get a home or refinance your home, you're going to be dealing with a bank and, maybe a mortgage broker or something like that. One of the pitfalls of doing this is that many of these people that you'll be dealing with are brokers. They're receiving a commission based on the product that they're selling, which means that they're incentivized to sell the product that has the highest commission as opposed to the product that best benefits your life. And I'm not saying that every single one of them is going to fall prey to these incentives. However, some of them will. And I think that the best system is the system that American Financing uses, which is to have salaried agents. Now, American Financing it's a big company. They're out of Colorado, endorsed by John Elway and Rush Limbaugh and all the big names here. I'm impressed with what they do, but they do largely what you expect them to do. They help you find a mortgage, but they do it in a better fashion, and they do it in a fashion where they're incentivized to help you with their salaried brokers rather than to help themselves. So check them out, American Financing. I have to give their NMLS number, which is 182334, and you can give them a call at 888-840-804. I'm sorry.
Damn, son.
888-804-0303. This is my first time reading this.
I was going to say, you even got your glasses on.
I do. I'm looking at it. 888-804-0303. 888-804-0303. And it's AmericanFinancing.net. You don't want to do anything else. AmericanFinancing.net. Check them out. They're a great company.
They do refinancing, too.
Yeah, AmericanFinancing.net.
All right, let's go to your calls and thoughts. Let's talk to Dave in Virginia Beach, listening to WNIS. Hello, Dave.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, what's on your mind?
Call.
Thanks, dude. Go ahead.
Let me preface what I'm about to say, but I'm a retired law enforcement. I was a deputy sheriff in Virginia Beach, and I've published books on the issue of legal immigration. I've got about 3,000 articles published on the subject.
Okay.
I do commission crime studies, and with that said, the description you gave, a couple of points I want to make. The description you gave about sanctuary cities, the gentleman brought it up earlier, is not accurate.
Okay. Tell me where I got wrong.
Sanctuary cities don't just refuse to hold people in this country illegally because they have committed a misdemeanor by coming into this country illegally. And they refuse to hold felons. Is what that's committed. They're charged with felonies in their cities or counties. And
you mean people who've committed an act where they come from?
Yes, sir.
You're talking about where in the country from which they've come?
In this country, they've committed. No, they don't even touch them. They're not sanctuary cities. Or generally, the police are not. How the rule of thumb goes in a sanctuary city, the police are if they pull somebody over for speeding or expired tags or whatever, they're not allowed to ask them about where they're from, their status in this country.
I support that.
But wait a minute, you just said that. Hold on, you said if they're wanted for a felony, they won't do anything about it. That's BS, man.
No,
come on.
Listen, please. If they're charged with a felony, if police respond to an incident. And they charge this guy, an illegal alien, happens to be an illegal alien, with a felony committed in an American city like Seattle, for instance, or Los Angeles, or where you can pick any number of them. They're charged with a felony in that city. They are allowed to bond out. They don't honor the ICE holds. ICE will then issue what they're supposed to do is run their name through a database. ICE monitors when an arrest is made, and even if ICE issues a detainer, they won't hold them. New York City's not holding. That's why ICE is camping out.
What you're saying
now.
is, just to be clear, you're saying they won't hold them based on what ICE wants. But if, however, they've committed a felony,
they won't.
Hold on. If they've committed a felony and the judge says no bail, they're going to hold them on that. But if the judge says, okay, we'll grant you bail on this felony, because felonies, there's a wide range of them, right? Like a felony can be murder, but a felony can also be possession of drugs or something like that. So if it's a felony which they're willing to let them go with no bail on, or PR, for instance, our friend Rich Paul just got PR bail on a felony charge here in New Hampshire recently. So if you're saying they're letting them go on bail or your PR or whatever, that's the decision of the judge. If they don't want to alert the ICE about their immigration status, that's a completely separate issue. If they committed murder, and are they going to let them out?
A bond.
Yeah, they're not going to get a bond on that, dude.
No, well, let me
Stop
tell you
BSing.
something, dude. Let me tell you something, dude. Look up the Bologna family in San Francisco. The guy who killed them got out. It was a gang member. He had been arrested for several felonies in San Francisco. He was an illegal alien. He one of the charges, he had been charged with murder. He had been in and out of jail, and the Bologna family, husband, two sons, were in San Francisco. They had somehow blocked a driveway or something. The guy was pulling out of, and the traffic light was stopped. They couldn't go anywhere. He gets out with an AK-47, guns all three of them down in their car.
Okay, so what you're saying is
San Francisco authorities protected him. Now, at that point, they didn't have any choice because ICE took control over it.
Okay, hold on. Just to clarify something, you're saying before he
after detainer on him, they wouldn't hold him.
I just want to clarify what you're saying here, Dave.
From ICE.
You're saying that before this man murdered people with an AK-47, he had murdered allegedly someone else, and they let him out on bail?
Yes, he was a gang member.
Okay.
Yes.
What I would suggest then is that you talk to the people in California about their jail system and how it is that they're stacking it full of nonviolent people and they don't have enough room to hold folks. So maybe that's why they're letting people out on bond who've committed murder, because or allegedly committed murder. Because in most places, if you are a wanted murderer, then they're probably not going to just cut you loose.
He's referring to the charges that this guy had prior to this. So he's a bad gang member. He had detainers, and then he was let out because he would have been in jail if they had honored the ICE detainer. But instead, he got out and he murdered this family.
Well, it's not clear exactly what he's saying.
It's a 10-year-old situation. Not to say that doesn't make it relevant to that family. It absolutely does. But if I bring up something 10 years old, people always call it old news. We can always find the story about the bad thing that happened. There's no doubt about it. All I'm saying here is that free people should be able to cross the borders of free countries freely, or you don't have free people and you don't have free countries. No, you should not be required to pay for an immigrant's school. You should not be required to pay for their medical. You should not be required to pay for their food. But you shouldn't be required to pay for that for a lazy American citizen who does it either. Because the problem here is a welfare problem. It's not an immigration problem. Also, this country was built by immigrants.
Don't forget that in California, you can't defend yourself either. So if some fool's got an AK-47, you can't legally, in many cases, possess a gun in order to defend yourself against that person.
Right, if Dad had a Glock, maybe he could have defended himself.
So what you got here, Dave, is a government problem, and people like you who work for the police are part of the problem because you are the ones who are enforcing these bad laws on people. Thanks for the call. We're coming up here, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You can bring up whatever you want. Yeah, I know. They're just doing their jobs.
You just always array yourself
They're just doing their jobs. I'm against law enforcement hurting peaceful people.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's fff@fff.org.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, and it's the live Saturday edition of the show. You can, as always, join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. You can sign up for our email list as well over at freetalklive.com. It is there. Well, if you're listening live, you have to click through to sort of the main page of the site. During the live show, there's like a live player that comes up first. Anyway, once you get to the main page of the site, you'll see the email list sign-up box right there toward the center and the top of the website. It's pretty obvious and hopefully hard to miss. So sign up for those, and we'll send you an email usually on a once-a-week basis, keeping you in the loop with what's going on with Free Talk Live. Tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
Let's go back to your phone calls and thoughts. Emily, listening in North Dakota to KNOX. Hello, Emily. You're on Free Talk Live.
Hi there.
Hey.
Appreciate you taking my call.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make a comment. A couple segments ago, toward the end there, you mentioned you were kind of comparing government intervention and interference in healthcare as opposed to the government's role in enforcing borders and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I will say right off the bat, I'm definitely a conservative, limited government sort of person. I just wanted to make a comment based on that comparison. I guess for me, it's a little difficult to equate those.
Okay.
And maybe I was misunderstanding what you were saying, but I guess for me, on one hand, you have healthcare, which, in my view, is not a right as a citizen. I feel
agreed.
It is not a right.
Free right. In a free society, obviously we all need it, and the free market system is there, and it should be.
No, it is not.
And,
Sorry to interrupt you, but there is not a free market system in healthcare. If there was a free market system, if there was a free market in healthcare, then we would have lowering costs over time rather than escalating costs. Prices would go down because competition would bring prices down and increase service and increase selection and options in the marketplace. So what we have is a highly regulated, mostly socialist system in the United States, where the government manipulates the market, restricts supply, and restricts doctors, restricts pills, restricts all kinds of treatments and all that. And so, unfortunately, we see in most categories. Mark, you made a few exceptions for like LASIK surgery and plastic surgery.
Sure.
There's a couple areas where there aren't many, if any, regulations at all.
Looks much freer that way.
But in most areas of healthcare, it's actually very socialized, with government controlling the majority of dollars being spent. So, not free market.
Okay, and I don't disagree with that. I guess what I was going to say was, if ideally in an ideal world, I believe that it should be less regulated and more free market. Free market should be free to work.
Agreed.
That's not the case. Okay, so we're on the same page there.
Yeah.
For me, in terms of the border side of things, I completely agree with you that the laws we have in place are really the issue. I completely agree with that, and that's where we need to be focusing. But for me, it's a little difficult to say that government is interfering or going too far, or we should not be enforcing to the degree that we are, because people coming here illegally are breaking our laws, as opposed to government getting involved in a healthcare system when it's not their role to get involved. To me,
but those laws are
one
stupid,
of the basic
right? Like
roles
those
of
laws don't
government
involve
is
victims. Let's clarify something. When you say they're breaking laws, they're not breaking laws involving like actually hurting people. They're breaking the stupid bureaucratic laws that the federal government has put in the way of peaceful people coming here to try to make a better life for themselves. So, if there's no victim, in my mind, there's no crime. And if you can see the benefit of the free market that we would like to see working in the healthcare industry, why wouldn't you be able to see that in the industry of, allowing people to come and make a better life for themselves and start businesses and work for people? Wouldn't that benefit the free market as well?
Again, if they're coming here under a lawful process.
Well, wait a minute. Hold on.
Whenever they want through the borders.
When you say a lawful practice, what you mean by that is begging permission from a bureaucrat. And that's ultimately the same problem that you said confronts the healthcare industry. If you want to create a treatment for some sort of malady, you've got to go and beg permission from a group of bureaucrats calling themselves the FDA. And they stand in the way of you being able to introduce or apply those treatments in this country. And if you don't do that, then men with guns are going to show up to your business and they're going to put you in handcuffs. And if you don't want to go with them, you're going to get shot. What's the difference?
Well, I think, in my view, again, we can, I can leave it at that if you'd like. But in my view, again, it's a matter of the sovereignty of our nation. Now, should the laws
the sovereignty of the nation argument.
All of that.
Wait a second.
But our nation has borders for a reason.
Well,
and,
it's because soldiers fought their way to there.
Is a problem for me.
Okay, I understand the problem with illegality. Do you have a problem in the 1860s with black people escaping slavery? It was against the law.
You mean in the South?
Yes.
Well, again, they were already living in our country. They were citizens.
It's not about. Look, I'm not talking about sovereignty here. I'm talking about legality. Don't dither on me. If you want to talk about sovereignty of the country, I'm fine with that. There is no such thing as a country. That's a fiction.
But ask the question again, Mark.
Black people who escaped from slavery in the South and tried to go north, both the people who escaped and the people who helped them were all criminals. So, do you think that they should have worked hard within the system in order to change it, or do you think they should have just escaped the brutal slavery that they were under?
For me, that would be a moral issue, which I realize is not exactly what you're asking. I admit that. I think both. There were lawmakers who were working to change these things, not fast enough. I totally agree with that. So yes, the law side of it, people were working in government to help change those laws. But from a moral standpoint, believing that every human is valuable, every human life is valuable, and no one should own another human, I believe that the folks in that system, slaves and folks who helped them, abolitionists, were also right to do that.
When I was in Acapulco in February,
kind of straddling the line there, but I'll admit that.
You're straddling a line, no doubt. When I was in Acapulco in February, I met a nice lady named Maria. She helped clean my house. I'd like Maria to come visit me in New Hampshire. Would you advocate people standing in the way of Maria coming to visit me in New Hampshire if she liked it here, staying? And as long as I take care of her, I'm going to make sure she's got a place to stay. I'm going to take care of her. It's just free people determining, moving across land freely, and then there's government bureaucrats saying no. And then there's people that support it. They say, some liar and thief in Washington, D.C. wrote some crap down on a paper, and that makes it important. Laws are just the scribblings of liars and thieves. That's all.
Well, as I said, I think we're going to agree to disagree on that.
All righty.
The problem is when you agree to disagree with me, you're willing to put a man with a gun in between me and whatever I want to do. You're willing to pull a weapon and point it at me, because that's what the government is. There is no state power without violence. You understand that, right?
Oh, Mao Zedong said that.
Right. It's simple. The Border Patrol agents aren't out there passing out, Hostess cupcakes.
Well, and again, I think that's where I definitely am more on the conservative side than a libertarian side in terms of I believe in limited government, but I believe that...
So it was okay, just to be clear...
I'm a conservative. I love my government officials to have hoses and guns.
Yeah, so you're okay with civil disobedience, people breaking the laws against, escaping their slavery back in the 1800s. You're all right with that. You can see the value and why that was okay. but you cannot see why it's okay for people to escape an oppressive state government in places like Honduras or elsewhere in Central America to try to come to a better place where they could have a better life for themselves or their families. That's where you say, that's gone too far. We need our own men with guns to put a stop to those people.
Again, if they're willing to come they're coming. They should come on our terms, and
they're not our terms.
You mean your terms?
Somebody else. They're not even her terms. She doesn't get to make up the terms. These are the terms of an unaccountable government bureaucrat. These are the terms of a sycophanted, egotistical man with a toupee. I mean, they're not your terms.
They are what stands in our
but she
current
supports
laws
them, Mark.
and according to the Constitution.
Your laws suck. The Constitution what? The Constitution says nothing about immigration.
No,
it talks
it doesn't.
about the federal government dealing with naturalization.
They didn't have an immigration service or bureaucracy or anything like that at the time the folks wrote the Constitution. There was nobody checking anybody.
ICE is unconstitutional.
Here. Thanks for the call, Emily. I do appreciate the discussion.
Thank you.
That's unfortunate that she's so deep within that viewpoint, she can't even see the similarities between escaping slavery and escaping Honduras and places like that.
I'm giving everything up here that the liberals want, right? The liberals want things like, all the immigrants should be able to get back rubs and whatever it is that they want when they come across. I don't want that. I want hardworking people to be able to come to this country and make all of our lives better.
As they have.
Want one single free thing given to them. But people are like, this is a nation of laws. It's not a nation of laws. You don't live in a nation of laws. The politicians don't follow the laws.
No.
Have you ever seen a cop pull a cop over for running a stop sign?
Pretty rare.
Come on.
The courts don't follow the laws either. They do whatever they want to do.
Nation of laws is a fantasy. I'm not saying I don't like the idea. It sounds great. But, I like the idea of being able to propel myself to the moon via my own flatulence.
All right.
That'll never happen either.
8:55. You're trying hard, though, every night here on Free Talk Live. More coming up. It's Free Talk Live. Hour 3's next.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-301-5435. That's 800-301-5435. 800-301-5435.
I'm crazy about My Magic Mud. This is the most important oral care product created this millennium, and I'm not kidding. We all have different opinions on politics and issues, but we all have mouths. And I want yours to be as clean as possible, with teeth as bright as they were meant to be. I will never be without My Magic Mud. It's a little surprising, but man, does it work. If you only listen to one thing I say ever, go to mymagicmud.com and get 20% off with code FTL. mymagicmud.com, code FTL.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,341, silver at $15, and Bitcoin is trading around $8,041. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, the Federal Government Accountability Office has issued an update to its 2016 report on the FBI's use of facial recognition. The takeaway, which they also shared during a Congressional House Oversight Committee hearing: the FBI now has access to 641 million photos, including driver's license and ID photos, but it still refuses to assess the accuracy of its systems. Activist Post reports that the FBI's Facial Analysis Comparison and Evaluation Services Unit not only has access to FBI's Next Generation Identification Face Recognition database of nearly 30 million civil and criminal mugshot photos, it also has access to the State Department's visa and passport databases. The FBI has done little in the last 3 years to make sure that its search results are accurate, according to the new report. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. Metropolitan Police in London have arrested 4 teenagers involved in a reprehensible attack on 2 women who were left bloodied and hospitalized after being taunted for their sexuality. The Mind Unleashed reports the 4 males, aged 15 and 18, are being questioned on suspicion of robbery and aggravated grievous bodily harm or severe assault. That's according to a statement by the Met Police. Melanie Gaymanet, a 28-year-old Ryanair stewardess from Uruguay, shared a photo on Facebook of herself and her girlfriend Chris after they were assaulted by a group of men who began shouting at them and throwing coins. The couple had just gone on a date in Camden and were returning home early on May 30th when the 4 men began demanding they kiss each other in front of them. When the 2 refused to share an intimate moment for the entertainment of the hooligans, the young men and teens beat them, leaving them with serious facial injuries, before also stealing their belongings. Hate crimes on the mass transportation network of the UK have doubled over the past 5 years, according to British Transport Police data. In what would be the first case of its kind, a Louisiana woman allegedly died from a THC overdose after vaping a large amount of cannabis oil. The Mind Unleashed, citing the New Orleans Advocate, reports that the otherwise healthy 39-year-old collapsed and died in her LaPlace apartment in February due to high levels of THC, the main psychoactive compound in cannabis. That's according to St. John Baptist Parish Coroner Christy Montague. The woman had healthy organs and no symptoms of illness or elevated traces of alcohol and drugs in her body. While THC can cause heart palpitations and extreme anxiety in some users, the federally funded National Institute of Drug Abuse has said that no recorded deaths have been attributable to marijuana overdose. Various experts have also cast doubt on the coroner's claims, describing his conclusion as highly unlikely. A former senior policy advisor at the White House Office of National Drug Control Policy noted that if such overdoses were possible, the growing amounts of cannabis consumption in the U.S. would have likewise risen. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Many thought that a politician with a publicly inebriated lifestyle would be unelectable. But Dave Tillis has proved them wrong, winning over voters by loudly rambling on about issues they care about.
Everybody's got to know that drugs are Americans, and we love America! And we want to make it awesome! Oh my God, let's do this! Let's be a senator! I love you guys!
Tillis' total fearlessness and lack of inhibition seem to speak to voters. This week, those supporters had something to celebrate as Senator Tillis proposed his first piece of legislation, the All Bus Stops Should Have Shelters bill.
But does that mean you deserve to wake up in the snow? Hell no. Let's make a shelter on all bus stops. Ow! This idea is genius!
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Hey, it is Free Talk Live, and we're launching into the third hour of the show, the live Saturday edition of the program. With you tonight, it's Ian
and Mark.
Our number for you, if you want to take control of the airwaves here, bring up whatever's on your mind, is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733, though a lot of people have been commenting on immigration, and we didn't even bring it up, although I did have a story about Trump's deal with Mexico, or I would say alleged deal with Mexico. The New York Times is calling it into question on the tariffs issue, where Trump had promised escalating tariffs if Mexico didn't do something about Central American migrants coming through their country. And the New York Times basically saying that, well, apparently the things that Trump's saying they just agreed to, they'd already agreed to do in previous discussions over the last several months. So we can dig in deeper to that if we get the chance. But to your phone calls and thoughts.
Well, I just want to say that I brought in a story that was about the legalization or the illegalization of the sales of tobacco products in Beverly Hills, because I think that freedom is important. But the bugbear of immigration always rears its head, and I think it's a psyop. I think that the government tries very hard to bring up these issues that really have nothing to do with our lives, or little to do with our lives. Because,
you live in New Hampshire, where it's not as obvious what they're doing as far as cracking down on people's freedom. Every now and then we do get a checkpoint up here, but
I'm
down
not
in
talking about the lack of freedom that the average immigrant has.
I'm talking about the lack of freedom that the average person here has. If you live in the South, Mark, you were down there visiting in Texas. You went through the checkpoints.
Yes, they have checkpoints, roving and stationary checkpoints.
How about people who get their businesses raided by ICE or whoever it is, CBP or whoever's doing the raids?
Well, these are
immigrant raids.
We have to break a few eggs to make a disgusting government omelet.
I'm just saying, don't act like this doesn't affect people's lives. It absolutely does. The police state is not getting smaller as a result.
The vast majority of people who are advocating for more government restrictions in the area of immigration aren't going to deal with an immigration problem in most of their lives. They're advocating for a solution to a problem they don't face.
Well, right. The immigrants aren't the problem. The government is the problem. The government goons that are standing in the way of you getting your business done, going from point A to point B, stopping you at a checkpoint and demanding information from you, demanding that you pull over, demanding that you get out of the car, and then searching your vehicle.
That's the truth.
These things happen all the time. You don't get out? Well, I mean, they don't have a legal basis to do it, but they might just pull you out of the car and beat you to a pulp.
Well, I actually refused to answer the question as to whether I was a citizen while going through a checkpoint in the United States. Not leaving the United States. It was a checkpoint inside the United States. And they held me there for quite a bit of time, going against
tried to intimidate
1,000 years of English common law that says that you need to have reasonable articulable suspicion to detain someone.
Yeah.
But, these are law enforcement officers and we have to support them. Well, they're not enforcing any sort of, real law. Yeah, the Supreme Court said something in I think it was the Rodriguez decision back in the 80s that he wasn't unreasonably detained, but they didn't claim how long an unreasonable detention is.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, some citizen simply has to stand up and say, excuse me, King, exactly how long can your men hold me until I am free? I know this is a free country and I should celebrate our rule of law, but exactly when may I go free, sir?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it sounds real free.
Yeah.
Let's go to Gene, the Christian anarchist. Gene, you're on Free Talk Live on our Discord server. Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about how healthcare is getting messed up by the government, by the Goonerment, that with their silly.
I don't know what you just said there, and I don't know if it may be my problem because I've been there's some bugs on this computer recently. But you had some jitter there. Can you say that again?
Yeah, the healthcare industry is being messed up by metrics. The government throws metrics into the healthcare through Medicare, and then that's boils on down to the insurance companies. But what the metrics are
By the way, before you go on, you know this because you actually work in a doctor's office as like the manager, basically.
Right. We have a doctor's office, and that's our business. So I get a lot of experience working with the goons, and I don't deal directly with them, but I deal with all of their paperwork, and that's pretty bad. But here's what happens in healthcare. They put these metrics out, and they say, well, X number of patients respond this particular way to medicine. Therefore, you have to treat your patients this way, or they actually dock you on your Medicare payments. So if you don't treat the patients the exact way that they think they should be treated, they will cut your reimbursement.
So doctors are no longer doctors anymore. They are simply follow orders given by the government.
Right. And we have patients who, for instance, blood pressure. They say your blood pressure has to be within this range. If it's not within that range, then you're not properly treating the patients. But some people, particularly older patients, they survive better with a very, very low or a very, very low blood pressure. They actually, if they get their blood pressure too high, they start passing out. Or actually, it's the other way around. If their blood pressure is too low, they start passing out. So what happens is they're in a better health when they have this ultra low blood pressure. But if they go into the hospital, go to the emergency ward, the first thing they do is they say, oh, your blood pressure is too low. So they give them blood pressure medication to bring their blood pressure up. Well, then they walk out the door and they fall over because they pass out, because they need to have, not everybody responds exactly the same way is what I'm getting at. So, but
wait a minute, you're saying that human beings aren't all the same, that there are actually differences between our bodies?
Absolutely. And some people can function much better with a lower blood pressure. Some people function better with a higher blood pressure. And when you're like 85 years old, you just want to live day to day.
Mm-hmm.
You don't necessarily have to have your blood pressure in a certain range if that's not what your body likes. If your body doesn't like that range, then just because the government says your blood pressure needs to be within that range doesn't mean that you should have it there. But this is just one example of how metrics are messing up the healthcare industry.
I'd never heard this before, Gene. I'm really kind of impressed with this. I didn't realize that the government is putting out mandates on how doctors treat patients. And I'm sure there's going to be some homogeny in the way doctors treat patients. I mean, they go to the schools and they learn the treatments and they do these kind of things. But I'm stunned to note, and this is what single payer basically means. If you're basically you're in the business at this point, you're getting paid by the government and then a handful of insurance companies that are out there. So we almost have single payer at this moment. Socialized medicine's just around the corner. But you basically,
and I can give you another.
You've got this mandate on how you treat people.
And I can give you another quick example of how they're messing up healthcare. Say you've got a surgeon who is one of the best surgeons out there. He is top notch. He knows his field. He does these heart bypass operations, and he is the number one in the field. But he doesn't like to take on the standard cases. He wants the tough cases. So he takes the really, really tough ones, the guys that, they have a very small chance of surviving. He will take those people and he will make miracles out of some of them, and some of them are going to die, but some of them would die anyway.
Right.
They would die anyway. But now he's docked. He gets docked because his fatality count is high. Well, his fatality count is high because he's taken on the cases that nobody else will touch.
Yep.
So what that does is it makes it so that when you're in that category, you can't find a heart doctor to touch you. So the government is basically saying, no, you get to die because we're making it so no heart doctor is going to touch you because he doesn't want his metrics to go down.
Illuminating.
So
I'm really surprised. Yeah. You see on TV, like Doctor Strange, this Marvel movie that came out not too long ago. That's exactly what he did. He's like, I only want the hard cases, but I won't want them too hard. Anyway, he's sort of trying to thread the needle there. And yeah, this is a real life situation.
Well,
I'm surprised.
If you want something messed up, just give it to the government. They're very efficient at
every single time. But we have to hold them in high esteem because, well, I don't know, patriotism.
Well, the previous caller doesn't think they'll mess up immigration. They're totally going to handle it.
I have no esteem for them at all. After all these years of watching the results of what they do, I truly believe that we would be so much better off if they all just went away and stopped bothering us.
That'd be nice. Hey, thanks, Gene, for the call. Thanks for the inside scoop. As always, appreciate it. The toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. It's Free Talk Live.
What is it costing you in vet bills for that convenience of just pulling open a bag of
formulated, extruded, processed cereal bits that cost a ton of money anyways?
How do you feed your dog to derive not only energy, but a good coat, bright eyes, and a great attitude?
Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
I found his raw meat diet on Dinovite.com. With just the raw meat and the eggs and the Dinovite and the Super Omega on top of it.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
Ground beef, white rice, eggs, including the shells, and the Dinovite supplement, and then the Lico Chops.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
It just balances out his body and his mind and his spirit.
Adding Dinovite to their diet has every single dog in my kennel looking better than they have ever looked.
Their skin is so much better now that they're on the raw diet. I don't even give them the kibble anymore. DINOVITE.com.
I believe the crypto winter is over. That, if true, means that crypto prices may be on the rise and more news will be on the horizon. Get the latest and freshest crypto news at news.bitcoin.com. They have a real staff that does real reporting, not the rehash stuff you're getting from most crypto news outlets. I am proud and happy to say that news.bitcoin.com is my first stop for all news crypto related. News.bitcoin.com. Don't forget that you can get a free Bitcoin Cash wallet and free Bitcoin Cash at free.bitcoin.com. Free crypto at free.bitcoin.com. I'm a little obsessed with My Magic Mud. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, the founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I didn't even know my teeth were coffee stained. A week's worth of use convinced me, and now I use it every 3 or 4 days. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, and I think it cleans better, too. My Magic Mud's available at most local health food stores, Sprouts, Natural Grocers, CVS, Walmart's Natural Beauty Aisle, but I can get it for you for 20% off with coupon code FTL20 at mymagicmud.com. FTL20 mymagicmud.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
There are basically 2 types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can dial toll-free to join us here on the radio waves. And that number for you is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
Brought to you by Bitcoin.com, your premier source for everything Bitcoin Cash related. They can help you choose a Bitcoin Cash wallet, show you where you can spend your Bitcoin Cash. You can also read the latest news, engage with the community on their forums, and more at Bitcoin.com. Their most recent edition, their new local.bitcoin.com, which I have been testing out this week. Didn't get a chance over the last couple of days because we were traveling in our trip to New York City there for the Talkers Convention, Mark. But the few days before that, it launched on Tuesday earlier this week. So it's brand new. It's a site that actually allows you to buy and sell Bitcoin Cash. And you can use a variety of different methods in order to do that. You could meet somebody in person and hand them physical cash and get Bitcoin Cash. You could do like a bank account deposit. You could send them like a gift card.
You said PayPal too.
PayPal's on there, Venmo. There's a bunch of these different options. Some of them higher risk. If you're the seller, if you're selling using PayPal, you're taking a pretty big risk because you don't want somebody to scam you. There are risks involved in some of these methods, but something like a cash deposit is fairly low risk. Anyway, you want to, and of course, meeting somebody in person is also, somewhat low risk as long as, they're not a thug who puts a gun to your head or something like that.
Probably should be in a public place, and you shouldn't be selling like 4 figures of Bitcoin.
Yeah, exactly. There are some sensible things that you should do to take steps to protect yourself. This is specifically
Bitcoin Cash, which is the sort of more usable version of Bitcoin as far as currency goes.
Sure, but if you're selling 4 figures worth of it, you should take some precautions, I would say. But regardless, it's a site that connects buyers and sellers together and allows you to buy and sell Bitcoin Cash. And you can do it over at local.bitcoin.com. That's local.bitcoin.com. And I have been able to successfully purchase some Bitcoin Cash through PayPal. I haven't had anybody purchase any Bitcoin Cash from me yet. But again, the site's pretty new. And you should go check it out, local.bitcoin.com. As we go to more of your calls and thoughts, let's go to Kevin. He's in Mobile listening to WAVH. Kevin, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, how you doing? Enjoy the show.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I just pulled on and listened to you saying that Beverly Hills is outlawing the sale of tobacco or tobacco products there, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
That's correct. And also the e-juice, nicotine, kind of any nicotine product basically is prohibited from sale in specific stores like grocery stores, convenience stores, but they're allowing the cigar shops to continue selling cigarettes and such. And also hotels. So there are some exemptions carved out, but for the most part, they're going to be sales are going to be banned in Beverly Hills.
I got you. I don't smoke, and I'm not an advocate of smoking. But if somebody wants to do that, of course, that's their choice. But my question is, in that county, do you know? You may or not know. Do they have dispensaries for like marijuana products or something like that? Or are they getting rid of one to promote the other or something like that for a tax-based purpose?
I hadn't even thought about that.
It's a good question.
But there is probably a marijuana dispensary inside the city of Beverly Hills.
That's about 5 square miles, apparently. I looked it up earlier. It is pretty small, even smaller than our little Keene, New Hampshire here, which is apparently like 30 square.
And the question there would be, if they're doing that, if they're getting rid of one to the other, they're saying, okay, again, I don't promote drugs either right there, but I'm saying, are they saying, well, we're going to keep you more healthy by taking one away, and then the next not a promoter of alcohol, but then are they going to say, well, we're going to ban the sales and go back to prohibition right there? It comes down to
Good
people
question.
right there. I mean, you can't regulate morality and things like that, but it seems like these people get on their high and mighty, and I'm a pretty conservative guy, but it's like, if you want to smoke, if you want to drink, if you want to do drugs, something like that, they're going to find a way to do it some way, shape, or form.
They are.
But I think if all of this comes down to somebody there on the city council or mayoral candidate or something like that, it's based on taxes. It's dollars and cents. It's like they're going to get one or the other, one way or the other. So why don't they just, come clean and say, hey, it's based on this. It's not we're worried about if you're going to get lung cancer or die.
Yeah, well, that doesn't look good, right? The politicians want to look like they're doing something that makes a difference. They want to look like they're helping people, and that's why all the quotes that, Mark, you had some of them that you shared in the – by the way, WAVH is on a slight delay, so you're probably hearing this hour what we did a couple hours ago. But the quotes that you shared were like, we're so healthy. Our city is just the healthiest city, and this is the proof that we're the healthiest city. Yay! And it's all just a bunch of back padding so the politicians can pander to people and get reelected. This may actually cut their tax revenue a little bit. If they were getting a piece, I don't know how it works in California. I don't know if the local city gets a chunk of the tobacco tax. If they don't, if all the tobacco taxes go to the state, then this won't be a tax revenue reduction, unless it's sales tax, in which case maybe they would get a piece of that.
Sounds like,
I don't know.
If you look at California politics, and they seem to always be in the red. It seems like they'd be trying to promote everything to get their tax base there. So again, like I said, not no promotion of it whatsoever, but I found that almost like an oxymoron there. So. But, hey, I always enjoy the show. Y'all always have some great topics, and keep up the good work.
Kevin, thank you for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number, if you want to join us here, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
Here's one thing I'm curious about. Old age is a pretty expensive proposition. We see that all the time. Smokers tend not to make it there.
Not too far.
I wonder if smokers
George Burns made it to 100.
What's that?
George Burns made it to 100.
Yeah, it depends on what you call a smoker. So
he was a cigar smoker.
Are generally not inhaled. They're just taken in sort of in the mouth.
Yeah, but his mouth didn't fall off from cancer.
That's not nearly as likely.
My grandfather died with emphysema, though.
Right. Well, and my grandmother and my father died from smoking cigarettes. I just want to say smoking a cigar isn't always the same as smoking a cigarette.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I wonder if smokers are actually less costly to the healthcare system than people who make it to old age. I don't even know. I really don't have an answer for that.
No idea. Yeah. Let's continue, though, with your calls and thoughts. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. As we continue here, you can bring up whatever you want. Let's go to Kirby, listening in Indiana, watching us on YouTube. Go ahead, Kirby.
Hey, what's up, fellas? Man, I was talking to a 20-something at work the other night, and I was going to tell him about a gentleman named Wentworth Cheswell from Newmarket, New Hampshire. But to tell him about it, I had to ask him if he knew who Paul Revere was. The dude did not know who Paul Revere was.
Wow.
This is a cat with a high school education, a gun permit, and a voter's registration.
Well, hold on. Let me ask about this.
And that is one of the pretty basic questions that anybody who is like half asleep in history class probably should have picked that one up.
Well, yeah, I mean, his popular culture has a lot of Paul Revere references too. So, did he say? Do you know who Paul Revere is? He says, no, I can't remember. Who's that? And then you say, the British are coming. The British are coming. One if by land, two if by sea. That guy. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I went all into that, and that's what got him to remember it, and it was still vague for him.
Okay.
And it just seems to me that's why we have so many Americans, especially the younger ones, who are stupid.
Well, hang on. Kirby, stand by. I want you to hold on, man. I want you to have a chance to get all what you say out here, so stand by. We're going to bring you back, okay? More with Kirby in Indiana. The toll-free number here, if you want to join us, 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. You can take control of the airwaves. This is Free Talk Live.
Looking for that edge during those intimate moments? We see many ads for enhancement, but the side effects include death. At GCN Team, we should change the Healthy Body, Brain, and Heart Pack to the Healthy Libido Pack. The brain and heart are not the only organs that require a healthy vascular system. For proper blood flow at the right moment, go to GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
Hi, this is Dr. Joel Wallach, the Mineral Doctor. You've heard me talk about 90 for Life for years. 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, 2 fatty acids. You may not know this, that I've actually designed Arthrodex for animals. That's right. Your pets need 90 for Life too. Get this essential pet product by calling 877-279-9422. That's 877-279-9422. Again, 877-279-9422.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You dial in toll free, bring up whatever you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And by the way, thanks to Rafi, who is one of our newest, in fact, I think the newest, Free Talk Live amplifier. Because we go through our list in sort of chronological order. We start at the oldest end, and then we go up to the newest. So we finally made it to the newest end, and Rafi is a gold amplifier, which means he's given $10 a month to the AMP program, which helps us do things like go to New York City, which we just did over the last 48 hours, and go to the Talkers New Media. Actually, I think they just call it Talkers 2019. It used to be the New Media Seminar, but it's not New Media anymore. No. So it's just Talkers 2019, and that's where we were yesterday evening, throughout the whole day yesterday. And so it's thanks to listeners like Rafi and the...
and I love your music.
And it's RAPHI. Oh. And it's there's about 196 or so Free Talk Live amplifiers. We seem to kind of be leveling off at about that level. Would love to get more. I mean, would love to have more people supporting what we do and increasing the AMP budget so we can do more to market Free Talk Live and to get our show out there in front of more program directors across the United States and bring new listeners on board with the show in new markets. We're up to over 200 stations now. We can hit 300. It's possible, but it does take some money. It does take some time and some effort. And we appreciate listeners like Rafi and maybe you if you want to go to amp.freetalklive.com. You get some cool perks as well. You can get access to the AMP chat rooms on the Discord forums. There's not Discord forums, but the Discord chat server. There's also the AMP-only Facebook group for those of you who are still on Facebook. I hear it's still pretty busy in there. Am I right, Mark? People still chatting in there?
Yeah, there's people talking on Facebook. Oh, you mean our group specifically?
Yeah,
yes.
AMP.
There's a lot of people on Facebook.
The only group worth using Facebook for.
That much is true.
So anyway, you can go to amp.freetalklive.com. Get signed up with PayPal. You can use credit card as well, or Bitcoin BTC. It's amp.freetalklive.com. You get the list of perks that you get there, and you get a list of the things that we're spending the money on as well. As we go back to Kirby, listening in Indiana. Kirby, you were talking about the government, schools, and the kind of people they're turning out, and you just barely began to make a point. So I wanted to make sure you had a chance to get your thoughts out. So go ahead.
Okay, yeah, my point is that people are so uneducated about the basics of what this country is and isn't, that it makes it easy for people like your earlier caller, the young lady who was dead set against immigration. Mm-hmm. It makes it very easy for them to be led around by their noses like sheeple. They refuse to look outside the little box that they've been given, and they think the whole world revolves around that narrow, tunnel vision view that doesn't take in 99% of the world. They think that everything is about them, and I get what you're saying about borders because they think everything is about America. The reason I was talking to this
on
cat
top of
about
that, they're taking the words of these sort of demagogues, these people on the radio and television, these pundits or whatever you want to call these folks. And I was just at a convention with these people. There's nothing special about them. They're not particularly good at life. They don't know everything. I mean,
they think they do.
No, they don't. They're not particularly intelligent or articulate, but they know how to press those primal buttons. That's like I was trying to tell this dude about Wentworth Cheswell because he's the black guy who rode north at the same time Revere rode west. He went and got the militia from up in northern New Hampshire and sent them to Boston. But most of us don't know this. I didn't know it till about 7 or 8 months ago. But the real history of this country is mind-blowing if we ever got it. But they won't teach it because if they did, it would empower us to make proper decisions and kick these bums out.
Yeah, but the problem is you kick the bums out, and more bums just come right back into come into their place. I mean, they're all bums.
As long as you leave a place for bums come in.
Yeah, you continue to kick the bums out.
How about we just lock the doors? Lock the doors. Maybe make sure everybody's out, and then just burn the place down.
But see, then what you end up with is either total anarchy or.
Well, I like Gene the Christian anarchist point. That is that we're already in total anarchy. What's the evidence that we aren't?
Well, I'm not going to say that we aren't in a state that's very close to total anarchy.
We have warlords who are ruling over us in a state of anarchy.
We absolutely do. It's almost like, I don't know if you've ever played a video game called Metal Gear Solid.
Yes, I have. Fine game.
Tell them, Snake.
It is almost like that. I understand that we're involved in. We've got how many proxy wars going in the world today?
That's a good question.
Not to mention the proxy wars that are going on right here in America, in our inner cities. Because if people think that those aren't proxy wars, they probably need to leave the drugs alone, because that is exactly what they are. And unfortunately, in my community, it's black folks killing black folks, complaining about how white folks treat them. Which is why I try to teach brothers about men like Wentworth Cheswell. Again, I'm surprised. I don't know if you guys knew about him or not.
No, I've got the Wikipedia article pulled up.
I was awful in history class.
Yeah,
I'm not going to be caught flat-footed again.
In Newmarket, New Hampshire.
Yeah, I actually saw that here.
We should know these things, but we don't.
Kirby, great call as always. Really appreciate hearing from you. By the way, if you're a Metal Gear fan, I saw a headline recently that there's apparently a fan who's remaking the original Metal Gear Solid on like the PS4.
Oh,
I don't know. Yeah.
Good graphics.
So, yeah, it'll be pretty cool.
That would be fun.
Thanks, Kirby, for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you, sir. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. According to Kotaku, it says that there's I guess this is some sort of a platform. I don't know what it is. It's called Dreams for PS4. I don't follow gaming very closely these days, but I still do like it. He says now we can add Metal Gear Solid remake project to the okay, I guess this isn't related to Dreams. Anyway, a Metal Gear Solid remake project isn't finished yet, but the first footage of it looks good. It's fan-made, being created by Bear Parker, who's the global...
How could they get away with that from an intellectual property standpoint?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Maybe it's this Dreams platform lets just fans make stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I guess it is some sort of a platform. Anyway, he apparently is the guy behind a developer, or he's one of the developers behind the popular Lego Star Wars and Avengers games. So that's pretty cool.
Sounds like it's going to be... that's a classic there.
Yeah, for sure.
Metal Gear Solid.
We continue here with your calls and thoughts. You can bring up what you want. Let's talk to John. He's in Dover, Delaware, listening to WDOV. Hello, John.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Long time no talk. Enjoying the show.
Welcome.
I just wanted to touch on the cigarette thing. I heard you guys talking about cigarettes and how they're pretty much a guaranteed death sentence. And I was a smoker for 20 years. Smoked the Marlboro Reds, the Cowboy Killers. And I'm going to go ahead and endorse a product right now, not by specific name, but I've switched from the cigarettes after 20 years to vaping.
Yep.
Which I know seems to be pretty uncool, and people make funny and.
I don't know why
they do. Uncool.
Man,
I mean, really, does that happen? People make fun of you for vaping? Is this high school?
Older. Exactly, dude. I'm 40 years old, and I got a couple of neighbors around here that are in their 20s, and they're always poking fun of me because I'm vaping and whatever, man. I could breathe again.
Yeah.
Dude, my lungs are back. I could jog 3 miles and not be out of breath, guys.
That's amazing. Kudos for you. Now,
dude,
just a question. Is it the, you don't have to say the name of the brand, but is it the nicotine salts style vaporizers?
It's not. It actually isn't, but I have heard good things about the salts one because as a transition from the cigarettes to actual vaping, it was a little bit of a rough transition because you don't get that actual feel as you do the same as a cigarette when you inhale without the salts that are added now. Now, with the nicotine salts, which are in the newer vapes and some of the more brand name vapes, that actually gives you a pull and an inhale and the actual feeling of inhaling a real cigarette.
That's what I
So
understand.
if you want to transition, I suggest, probably going with the salt additive, but I'm not on the salt.
That's what helped one of our co-hosts, Chris Reitman, who was hosting the show over the last couple of nights. And I know you might have been calling about something else. If you want to hang on, John, we can bring him back. But there's so many people who've had these experiences switching to vaping. It has been a huge help for them, and yet the government seems to want to just crack down on them. There's more coming up here. It's Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Everything we tried failed except the Dynovite.
Pick up 2 bottles of Super Mega Fish Oil.
Get the 3rd bottle free. Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Dogs love it. Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Business owners, you want more customers? Accept cryptocurrencies. There's people all around you just waiting to spend money at your store. If only you would take it. I know, you've been waiting till someone else makes it easy. Well, good news. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com adds Bitcoin to your point of sale. Totally free. Use the same equipment you already have, now with Bitcoin. And unlike credit cards, there's no fees. Let the guys at HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com bring new customers to your store. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with Reputation Defender. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with Reputation Defender. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771. for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with Reputation Defender. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Moments remain, enough time here for you. If you want to join us now, our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. At this time next week, Mark, we are going to be in the midst of Fork Fest.
Is it that soon?
The decentralized libertarian camping event. Well, start packing, because we're leaving on Thursday. We're going up for the very first day. Or actually, you didn't say for sure you were going on Thursday, but I'm definitely going on Thursday, and Free Talk Live will be broadcasting from the event. Hopefully you'll be there as well.
I'll be there. If I have the option of not showing up on Thursday, I might at least take Thursday to pack.
Okay. So hopefully everything will work out with the initial broadcast. Things are always a little tricky once you get everything set up, but we're pretty good at this. It's going to be in a campground, so the internet connections aren't always the greatest, but that's why we're recording the show. And so we will do interviews of the various different interesting folks that are there on the campground, and there will be a bunch of them, a bunch of liberty-minded folks.
And just do shows.
Hanging out. Yep, we're going to be doing shows there every single day. So you'll get a taste of what it's like to be at Fork Fest if you're listening to us. But if you can be there, you really ought to be, because it's going to be a lot of fun. And I think it's going to be bigger than the previous 2 years. We don't really know for sure, because Fork Fest is decentralized. There's no organizer. There's no tickets. So therefore, there's no ticket sales numbers. So we can't really compare beyond just sort of eyeballing the campground. I mean, I could ask the campground to say, well, how many sites were sold in 2017, 2018, and 2019, maybe that could give us some sort of idea of growth. But nobody's in charge at Fork Fest except for everybody, meaning that you are in charge of yourself, and so you decide what to do. Do you want to just come and hang out and camp with other liberty-minded folks, or do you want to create something for those people who are there to enjoy? Maybe you are a musician. You want to put on a musical performance. Maybe you got a speech to give You want to do that? That's fine. There's actually the Alt Expo tent, I think, is where a lot of speeches are going to be going on during ForkFest. Our friends from AnyPay.global are going to be bringing up a geodesic dome that they're going to be building there on a site, which is apparently fairly large, and they're going to be throwing basically dance parties or raves every single night to culminate in the Big Gay Dance Party, the return of the Big Gay Dance Party that hasn't happened up here for a number of years since it used to be at the Porcupine Freedom Festival. Now it's going to ForkFest. You can go to forkfest.party. There's also Man Camp, where our co-host Jay Noon is going to be setting up for allowing people to do manly stuff, like metalworking, I think, is one of the things. Some sort of
it's going to be forging and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and so other things. Oh, Silver Dave even announced a class on how to escape capture, so like lockpicking and other secrets that he learned when he was working for the military. So there's some interesting stuff that's going on here, and that's just scratching the surface of it. So if you want to learn more, you can get into the ForkFest chat room. You can also get onto the ForkFest forums, and these are, of course, unofficial. But you can link to them over on a ForkFest website, also unofficial. Go to forkfest.party. That's forkfest.party. And we'll look forward to seeing you there. By the way, the dates are Thursday the 13th, so coming up this week through, I guess it ends Tuesday the 18th. You're supposed to check out that morning. So until, I guess you could say until the 18th. Thursday the 13th until Tuesday the 18th. We will look forward to seeing you there. As we continue with your calls and thoughts, John's still on the line with us in Dover listening to WDOV. Go ahead, John.
How to escape capture. Don't you love the world we live in, gentlemen?
Yes, indeed. It's going to be fun.
That's awesome. Hey, listen, I just wanted to touch real quick on the young socialism movement we have going on here in the country. And as I look back, as a bit of an older man now, not a kid so much anymore, I hope that these young folks are just, not quite thinking straight yet, if you follow what I mean. I look back how I thought then as compared to how I think now, and it's like night and day, man.
Yeah, and like your phone connection is like night and day right now too. It's kind of going in and out, and I'm not sure.
Guys.
I'm not sure if it's you or if it's our board in Minneapolis or what. But Mark, we had an interaction with some young people in New York City. This week. We went to a comedy club. They had an improv. What was it? Improv Asylum, I think was what it was called. And there's one
great.
in Boston and one in New York City in Manhattan, and it was
Asylum
great.
Improv.
Yeah, they did a great. I think it was Improv Asylum. But anyway, they did if you look it up, you'll find it. They did a great show. It was a 90-minute long show with a bunch of improv. They did some pre-scripted kind of stuff too, some skits, but it was almost empty. Sadly, the whole place. Wow. It was in the old UCB theater.
It was on a Thursday night.
That's true, but the old UCB theater, Mark, on a Thursday night would have been much busier. And anyway, the reason I bring the story up is because there were Mark, you and I were there, and we were the only males in the audience. There was also a large group of teenage young women that were there, and they were all about communism. I mean, they were just communism. They were still in school, they were there for a birthday party or whatever, and they just kept talking about communism, and they were just in love with the idea. So this is what young people are being taught today. They're being taught,
or at the very least, that's what they're wanting to learn.
Well, I hope that they realize that these politicians that are, preaching this socialism and what have are just gigantic parasites that are just using their unexperience and their, lack of education to push their, political views. Socialism does not work. I mean, it's been repeated throughout history over and over and over again, and it's been tried. Look, man, it doesn't work, man. It was a pamphlet. Communism started over a simple pamphlet that this guy wrote and handed out to the masses about this utopia and this perfect life and everybody's equal. And it's not about that. It's about people being on top, having all the power, and then the masses all being equal amongst one another while these powerful people lead over top.
Right, equal in poverty.
And people need to.
It doesn't surprise me.
Man, I mean, come on.
It doesn't surprise me that young people, who are living at home with their parents, being told what to do, being given money, in many cases for not doing anything. By the way, these girls rode there in the biggest
in a huge
limousine I have ever seen. It was some kind of stretch SUV limousine. So,
it was
what
monstrous.
a surprise. Let's put together a central Soviet committee to hand out the money to the poor people.
And they were going to a private school and everything.
Right. So it just doesn't surprise me that communism's alluring to people who have never had a real job when you get out there and you see that, sometimes other people don't work as hard as I do. This isn't going to work. Like, it just falls apart.
John, thanks for the call. I appreciate hearing from you tonight, and I hope he's right. I mean, I hope they do figure it out, once they start getting into the world and actually observing and that sort of thing. But the way this is set up, this information or misinformation or whatever about socialism out there, it's set up to where every time it's failed, its advocates can just simply brush it aside. Oh, well, Hugo Chavez. Right, Hugo Chavez in Venezuela and Nicolas Maduro in Venezuela. Oh, yeah, they are socialists, but they just didn't get it right. They messed it up. They should have done it X, Y, and Z way, the way that, my teacher told me it should happen, or Bernie Sanders said that it should happen, ignoring the fact that Bernie Sanders was praising Venezuela at one time.
Well, when they trot out examples of places that have, big social welfare safety nets, but they aren't socialist. They are... they're as capitalist as modern America is capitalist, if you want to use that term. I don't believe capitalist is a good term for that, but whatever. These are places that just have a social safety net. And with a social safety net, everybody agrees. Some people kind of use it as a hammock. And it turns out the people that work the hardest like that the least. It's pretty frustrating when you're out there, beating your head against the wall for 8, 10, 12 hours a day in order to work hard, and then, a third of your paycheck is taken away so that other people can not do anything.
Let's talk to James in New Jersey, watching us on YouTube. Go ahead, James. James? In New Jersey? Going once. James in New Jersey, going twice. All right, well, thanks for trying. And if you didn't get in tonight, well, of course, you can always call us tomorrow night. And we will continue to watch the failure of socialism here on Free Talk Live. In fact, I saw a news article. It wasn't worth putting in prep tonight, but it was about people in Venezuela. Even Juan Guaido, the self-proclaimed other president of the country, he's saying he's had to take baths in buckets. Like, he can't shower, and sometimes the water apparently doesn't turn on, is his claim.
Yeah, well, socialism doesn't work. Communism doesn't work. Well, these aren't the same things. Socialism should be defined as the state ownership of the means of production. At least that's how I was taught it. Now, some people will tell you that means community ownership of the means of production.
That's crap.
I'm not sure what that means and how the community got this means of production that they now own. But
if you think you own the waterworks in your town, go over there and see if you can tell them what to do.
Yeah, tell them to
see if you can even get access to it.
Tell them to add a little more fluoride or take a little away and see. You're just going to tweak that, just optimize that a little bit.
See if they'll let you in the front door.
Right. See if you can get on there without getting arrested.
Hey, I'm the owner of this facility.
No, you're not. You're just a serf that has to pay for it.
Hey, we're out of time tonight, but you can join us between now and tomorrow night when we'll be back, because we do this live all 7 nights a week. Well, mostly live, except for when we're at Forkfest, in which case we'll be recording it live. But that's the exception, not the rule.
We're doing it live.
Yeah, we will. Tomorrow. See you then. freetalklive.com. Have a great weekend.
Have you checked your Google? With weather conditions in the Sahara among the most brutal in the world, the desert is a place suitable only for collapsing, dying, and rotting. Starvation is just one of the many possible outcomes for the gazelle or desert elk. It could also suffocate in a sandstorm, collapse of dehydration, or be run over by a dune buggy. Only the vulture has the wherewithal to survive in this nirvana of death. They feed on the dead of the Sahara. Uniquely adapted to the rigors of desert life, the vulture usually dies of heart disease after becoming overweight from the feast of carcasses. The landscape of the desert is dominated by towering sand dunes made from millions of years of ground-up bones. Another day ends in the Sahara, Earth's largest, most uncomfortable tomb.
This is the Onion News Network.
Are you tired of governments around the world killing innocent people? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin is money that cannot be inflated or controlled by any state. By continuing to use their money, you're perpetuating the killing. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available to you now. Learn it, use it, spread it.
Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. It's Bitcoin.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,341, silver at $15, and Bitcoin is trading around $8,041. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at InnoScale.net. In the news, the Federal Government Accountability Office has issued an update to its 2016 report on the FBI's use of facial recognition. The takeaway, which they also shared during a Congressional House Oversight Committee hearing: the FBI now has access to 641 million photos, including driver's license and ID photos, but it still refuses to assess the accuracy of its systems. Activist Post reports that the FBI's Facial Analysis Comparison and Evaluation Services Unit not only has access to FBI's Next Generation Identification Face Recognition database of nearly 30 million civil and criminal mugshot photos, it also has access to the State Department's visa and passport databases. The FBI has done little in the last 3 years to make sure that its search results are accurate, according to the new report. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. Metropolitan Police in London have arrested 4 teenagers involved in a reprehensible attack on 2 women who were left bloodied and hospitalized after being taunted for their sexuality. The Mind Unleashed reports the 4 males, aged 15 and 18, are being questioned on suspicion of robbery and aggravated grievous bodily harm or severe assault. That's according to a statement by the Met Police. Melanie Gaymanet, a 28-year-old Ryanair stewardess from Uruguay, shared a photo on Facebook of herself and her girlfriend Chris after they were assaulted by a group of men who began shouting at them and throwing coins. The couple had just gone on a date in Camden and were returning home early on May 30th when the 4 men began demanding they kiss each other in front of them. When the 2 refused to share an intimate moment for the entertainment of the hooligans, the young men and teens beat them, leaving them with serious facial injuries before also stealing their belongings. Hate crimes on the mass transportation network of the UK have doubled over the past 5 years, according to British Transport Police data. In what would be the first case of its kind, a Louisiana woman allegedly died from a THC overdose after vaping a large amount of cannabis oil. The Mind Unleashed, citing the New Orleans Advocate, reports that the otherwise healthy 39-year-old collapsed and died in her LaPlace apartment in February due to high levels of THC, the main psychoactive compound in cannabis. That's according to St. John Baptist Parish Coroner Christy Montague. The woman had healthy organs and no symptoms of illness or elevated traces of alcohol and drugs in her body. While THC can cause heart palpitations and extreme anxiety in some users, the federally funded National Institute of Drug Abuse has said that no recorded deaths have been attributable to marijuana overdose. Various experts have also cast doubt on the coroner's claims, describing his conclusion as highly unlikely. A former senior policy advisor at the White House Office of National Drug Control Policy noted that if such overdoses were possible, the growing amounts of cannabis consumption in the U.S. would have likewise risen. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Is oral health important to you? If you don't like your own teeth, fresh breath, or kissing people, then by all means stop listening. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I became passionate about the product that she created and never want to live without it. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, but I find it does much more. They want you to love My Magic Mud as much as I do, so they're giving you a money-back guarantee plus 20% off. Go to mymagicmud.com and use coupon code FTL20 at checkout. mymagicmud.com, FTL20.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. The latest edition of Humans of Bitcoin is next on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.fm. Get more at podcast.bitcoin.com.
For anyone listening that doesn't know this, currently right now, the land that we call Liberland between Croatia and Serbia, sitting on the Danube River, is being blockaded, what we believe illegally, by the Croatian police, Croatian government. So we feel as though, we're being bullied a little bit right now, but at the same time, one of our biggest principles is the non-aggression principle, which is so awesome. I love that. That's again, probably one of my favorite things about Liberland is that's how we roll.
Humans of Bitcoin is part of the Bitcoin.com podcast network.
This is John McAfee, and you are listening to the Bitcoin.com podcast network.
Hello. This is your host, Matt Aaron of Humans of Bitcoin podcast on the Bitcoin.com podcast network. I hope you are having a great week, and I have to mention, local.bitcoin.com has launched. This is a way to buy and sell Bitcoin Cash peer-to-peer, non-custodial. Think of a better version of local Bitcoins because you don't have to sign up with the KYC, AML stuff. Bitcoin Cash, anywhere in the world. They are buy and sell offers already. Just go to local.bitcoin.com and sign up. I am personally helping push this in Venezuela as it's a needed form of payment and a way to send money in and out of the country, as well as help merchants who accept Bitcoin Cash to change it into Colombian pesos or Venezuelan bolívares. Very happy to be here, 18 months at Bitcoin.com now. It's been quite the ride, both in the cryptocurrency world as well as at the company. And we're bringing some new things into the show, one of them being up-and-comers, people that are not so established in the cryptocurrency world, a little bit earlier on their path. And one of them is Adam Carswell, a student athlete playing college basketball, a business enthusiast who had that kind of a couple eye-opening experiences, and he really opened his mind. His life started to change actually when he was in Belize, the beautiful Caribbean island nation. And so today's podcast, we're going to help answer that question. When you meet someone that's into Bitcoin, someone that lives an unconventional lifestyle, a lot of people, I'll say quote unquote, normal people will ask them, how did you get here? And how did Adam open his mind? Hosting the Liberland podcast, getting into commercial real estate, working remotely, traveling around the world is obviously a complete shift in political and world and spiritual values. It's quite interesting. This was a fun episode, and I hope you enjoy Adam's take on things. So inside the mind of Adam Carswell, here we go. Adam Carswell, welcome to Humans of Bitcoin. How are you, man?
I'm feeling great, and thank you for talking to me before this call. I really feel warmed up now, like I'm ready to play in a game or something.
Good, man. I mean, you're an athlete, and we'll obviously talk about that today, but it's important to warm up. I've been interviewed on podcasts before where they've called me, and I answered, and I'm like, hey, what's up? I'm like, oh, everything good? They're like, yep. So you ready? And that's it. Like, there's no talking for. And I do like to be conscious of busy people and their time, but at the same time, it's good to establish a rapport, and I think we'll make for a better interview.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm stoked, man. Let's talk about this life we're living.
Okay. Well, the life we're living. To start out, what are the things that you're most excited about in the next 6 months, or we'll say the rest of 2019?
For me personally, I would say I've been put in a unique position where I can now work 100% remotely. And this kind of ties ultimately all the way back to Bitcoin, and it's going to be a good part of the conversation. But I can work from wherever I want. And so right now, I've recently chosen Newfoundland, Canada. I'm going to be based out of here for at least the next 2 to 3 months. I've got some friends up here, and that's what originally drew me to the area, but I really like every time I come up here. It's just a great time, and it's the summer months, so it's not super freezing cold. And then after that, right now I'm really contemplating between 3 places in particular: Puerto Rico, Medellin, Colombia, and Cluj, Romania. We can go into details on why I'm excited or looking into these places, but those are 3 countries or destinations that I've got on the radar in regards to where I'll be living and working from for the next 6 months. So I think that's probably like the most exciting thing I could say.
That's very exciting. I got to add some very interesting comments here. One, I do want to get into those 3 spots. So I lived in Colombia for 8 years. I don't know if I told you that. I lived in Bogota.
Oh.
I've been to Medellin many times. So Bogota. Yeah. And if you go down to Medellin, let me know. I have plenty of friends there that I can link you up with.
This is why I'm looking at Medellin. 1, because I've been there, but 2, I heard their tech scene is pretty remarkable right now. And it's always good to be in a technology hub.
Honestly, I'd say it's overblown to call it a huge technology hub. I think Bogota is maybe a little bit more advanced, but there are a lot of digital entrepreneurs that live there and work there. I just don't want to conflate that with something like San Francisco or Berlin, where there's a lot of startups that are really based there and their offices are there. Does that make sense?
Right.
I just want to clear that up. But yeah, I highly recommend Medellin. And tell me about the other 2 cities.
Yep. And so Dorado is obviously the one big city in Puerto Rico where I think a lot of freedom-minded individuals are gravitating towards. And I know someone who has some real estate connections there. That's my main focus of professionalism right now, is in real estate, commercial real estate investing. And so I would just like to go somewhere where it's warm. It is a little bit more free feeling. You get to hang out with people who are probably paying less in taxes. That's always cool. And yeah, I mean, I want to work on my Spanish too. So that's what Puerto Rico is pulling me in for.
So I went to Puerto Rico last year. Really nice place. A lot of people move there for tax reasons. Like I think if you stay there 5 months out of the year, if you're an American citizen, because Puerto Rico is an American territory. So if you stay there 5 months out of the year, then you get on Puerto Rican taxes and your tax rate goes way down to like 4 or 5%. In terms of living there, it's a cool spot. I've never been to Dorado, just San Juan, and I can't remember right now, but this other city that wasn't really that nice. But yeah, I guess it depends what you're looking for. I think they both have advantages and disadvantages. But what about this Romanian city that I can't pronounce?
Cluj. And it's like Cluj, and if you're Romanian, you would call it Cluj, and then there's some other words or letters, pronunciations that come after that. But for us English speakers, we just stick with Cluj. So my business partner with one of the firms that I work with, we're based out of Chicago. That doesn't really matter too much, but we have connections in Romania. And so this is actually very preliminary. I don't know how much information I should disclose. Now I'm thinking about it as I'm saying it. But basically, we have some real estate connections there and some ideas that we're working on. And it would be really beneficial for everyone involved in the project to have someone there with boots on the ground. So it's something that I'm looking into. I don't know if I would really be able to make it work just from a time zone situation. It is helpful for me to be on relatively close to North American time, but at the same time, it's an opportunity that, I'm 28 and I'm single and I love to travel. So it could be a really good fit. And apparently Cluj is also the country of Romania for all of our Romanian listeners. From what I've heard, it's also a very technology driven and focused city, more so than Bucharest, which is the capital. So I just like to be in these cool off the grid environments. It's my thing. I don't know how else to put it.
Hey man, you're talking to a guy that's in Merida, Mexico right now. So
right, exactly.
We're on the same page and we have a lot of things in common. You mentioned working in College Park. It's my alma mater in Maryland. So when I sum up your early life, you seem like a very motivated guy, an athlete, excelled in basketball and in track, played sports in college. Then you got your MBA. And there's many people that take that route, but they don't really, I don't want to say 99%, but at least 80, 90%, I don't think they land on the liberty and freedom side. Does that sound fairly accurate? So I want to get into that. And you mentioned this to me in our first call. You said when Mickey, who's Roger's assistant, who's awesome, shout out to Mickey, hooked us up for this interview, like I read your bio and I happened to be in Belize City after a wonderful vacation. And I was like, what, this guy lives in Belize for 2 years. And you said in the email, I think you said Belize changed my life. So yeah, how did Belize change your life?
It totally did. And I think that's where doing the unconventional off the grid things really started for me. My undergrad was in journalism. And so that's why you and I also both are very comfortable with talking and being on camera and all this stuff like that. But so I studied journalism, didn't really have much to do with the direction I was going, but it was something that came easy and was fun. When I was in college, I decided I want to be a college basketball coach one day. And in order to be a college basketball coach at the NCAA level now, prerequisite is to have your master's degree. Normally it's going to be in something like psychology or sports leadership, but at the end of the day, almost every college basketball coach nowadays has a master's degree in something. To make this part quick, I basically found out that if I wanted to keep playing basketball, even after my 4 years of NCAA competition, I could, as long as I go to another university that is not a part of the NCAA. And my basketball coach used to live and play and coach basketball in Belize as well, even though he's from Youngstown, Ohio originally. And so I was just like, hey, coach, I want to do this. Like, is there any way we can make this work? And he contacted some of his connections, and next thing you know, I'm on a scholarship to go play basketball at Galen University in Belize. And Galen University is accredited by multiple North American universities, so it's like perfect. Go down there, get my master's, it's real, and play basketball and keep working towards being a coach. And so I left the US in 2013 for really the first time ever. I had been to Canada before, but I think that was about it. And it just made me realize, like, whoa, there's got to be even more than this going on in the world instead of just, this is just a little piece. This is just Belize. But, I went to Mexico, I went to Guatemala and everything down there in the Central America area when I was there. And then next thing you know, I think from 2013 up until now, I've probably been on at least 100 to 150 flights and maybe to 14 or 15 different countries. And so that's why I like to say Belize changed me, because it helped me start realizing how big the world is. And you're right, most people who do take the path that I took in regards to education and competition will just, they'll go work at Ernst & Young and have a good career and do stuff like that for 30 years and retire with, maybe $1 million in the bank account or something like that. But I don't know. I want more than that. I just want more. So that's why we're here.
It's really funny. JD Walsh, hopefully is listening to this show. He's a big listener of the Bitcoin.com podcast network. He played basketball at University of Maryland with like Joe Smith. I don't know if he's like a little bit older. He played like 95 and he played pro basketball.
Yeah. Joe Smith is good.
Yeah, he played pro basketball in India. So this guy was no joke. I mean, you're like the 6th or 7th man on Maryland, right? You got to be able to play. And he also went into commercial real estate. Is there anything with ex-ball players going into commercial real estate? And sorry, for people that aren't into that, like commercial real estate, I think of you buying buildings and renting them out to offices. Or I mean, I guess there's so many things that could be. You create shopping centers. What exactly do you do in commercial real estate?
Yeah, and I feel like I should tie commercial real estate into my discovery of Bitcoin, because they actually, weirdly enough, they tie together.
Sure.
Which is also kind of uncommon, because I feel like most people in commercial real estate stay away from cryptocurrency, and I'm still trying to figure that one out. But
most people in general stay away from cryptocurrency right now.
Right. That's what it is. So I finished school in Belize. I got my master's. To summarize that real quickly, I had no idea this was going to happen, but I ended up becoming the head coach of Galen University while I was there. I was a player my first season. I was a coach the second season. We won the national championship both years. It was like, wow, amazing. So after I had done that, I was like, wow, I'm 23 and I just achieved kind of like my life goal. Like I wanted to be a college basketball coach. I don't know if I want to do this anymore. Like basketball helped me see the world too, but I don't know if it's my thing. So at that time, I was still actually kind of in that, I guess, more like corporate mindset. I was like, I want to go back to the US. I want to get a job with a Fortune 500 company, and I just want to work my way up the ladder and just, be successful that way. And so I started doing that. That's where we had our connection through College Park. I managed stores for Sherwin-Williams in the Washington, D.C. area, College Park, McLean, Virginia. Those were my 2 stores. And I started to realize, like, looking around at all the people around me, even the ones who are really successful in the company, it's like, man, there's a ceiling here for everyone. And I talked to someone that I worked with who was in real estate, and they were working on their real estate license, but they worked at Sherwin-Williams. Like, oh, wow, that's creative. Why are you doing that? Like, isn't this job good enough for you? And like, yeah, no, but I want to make some money on the side. So I kept looking into it. And like, wow, okay, if I get my real estate license, I actually don't have a ceiling anymore. Like, however much I want to earn, I just got to go. Well, you eat what you kill. And so I got my real estate license. I eventually left Sherwin-Williams, and then I actually started as a residential realtor with RE/MAX for 2 years. That was at the beginning of, feels like a long time ago, but it was really, I guess, at the beginning of 2017, late 2016, early 2017.
2.5 years ago.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy. So I'm with RE/MAX, but during my time with RE/MAX is also when I started to go down the rabbit hole into Bitcoin and into commercial real estate. So, and this is the interesting thing, is like, now that I was setting my own schedule and making time for the things that I wanted to do, that's when I started going on YouTube. I started researching Bitcoin, which I think popped up on my LinkedIn feed one day, and I saw it was trading at $1,800, and I was like, wow, that's a lot of money based on whatever it was before. I don't remember, but I set up a meeting with someone. I typed in Bitcoin on LinkedIn, and I set up a meeting with someone who started explaining to me. And once you first, most people, once you first learn about it, you just start going down this rabbit hole. You're just going and going. And so as I'm going down this rabbit hole, I stumble across Jeff Berwick, Mr. Anarchapulco, and Jeff's platform has really also transformed my life in many ways. So the reason why Jeff led me to commercial real estate was he interviewed on Anarchast my business partner at ASIM Capital, which is the firm that I work with based out of LA. Hunter was an anarcho-capitalist in commercial real estate. And I was like, what the heck? I've never heard of or seen anyone in commercial real estate that's also like cool with cryptocurrency. So I reached out to Hunter and we talked, and then he offered a mentorship program. I was actually the first one to go through this mentorship program that he had set up. And next thing you know, this was like right around when was this actually? This would have been early 2018. Yeah. Like January 2018, I finished the program with Hunter. And then next thing you know, he's like, hey, if you want to start working with me, you can. So I started working with him part-time. And that eventually led to me going to Freedom Fest and meeting my future business partner, who's at Concordia Realty now. And so now I work primarily just with, if you go on my website, carswell.io, it'll tell you a lot more about it. You were asking about retail there. But, really through Bitcoin, which led me to Anarchast, which led me to Hunter, which led me to Michael Flight, who's the other individual that I work with. Now I'm in commercial real estate, and I've just kind of put residential on the back burner, especially since I moved from Washington, D.C. to San Francisco in November 2018. So there's no way I'm going to be able to do residential real estate in D.C. when I'm 2,000 miles away. Yeah, so now, sorry, it's a really long story and explanation. I hope it all makes sense. But now what we really do is we look for deals across North America. It could be in any market, normally a secondary or tertiary market. So like a Nashville and Austin, Cleveland, Indianapolis, markets like that. We look for shopping centers that are normally, I'd say, about 80% occupied that could use some value add strategies to help boost revenue. And we also look for similar situations with mobile home parks and self-storage facilities. So value add strategies implemented on projects like this. And then what we do is we pool our investors' capital together. We acquire the property or the product, the asset, and add that value to it. And then normally we'll exit the deal within 3, 5, 10 years after acquiring the property.
Okay.
Sorry, and I don't know why basketball players are in this either, but I did just meet a basketball player that's in commercial real estate the other day.
Interesting. Yeah, I'll keep that in mind. But about the whole basketball thing, very interesting.
Are you a developer? Start building on the Bitcoin Cash blockchain today. Everything you need to get started at developer.bitcoin.com.
So Adam, I guess my question for you is, so obviously like Bitcoin led to meeting these people that are into commercial real estate and this anarcho-capitalist point of view. What changed, or what were things, I don't want to say things you were wrong about, or a better way to put it would be new beliefs that you formed about the world through Jeff Berwick and the Anarchist?
I think the biggest, oh man, I don't even know where to start. I feel like I have so many new perspectives, and probably, who knows, 2 years from now, I'll be looking back at today like, wow, you thought you had a new perspective then. It all started for me, again, with Bitcoin, because I thought it was just so cool, so amazing. I was like, why does the government not like this? I just couldn't figure it out. It's like, it doesn't make sense. Why does the government not like this? And then I started realizing like, oh, wow, it's like super anonymous. There's no way they can tax it. Well, why are they mad about that? Oh, because they want your money. Well, that's not cool. Why the heck? Like, can I please have my money? Like, why do you need to get your hands on it? And so those were like paradigm shifting moments that probably happened for me from spring 2017 through fall 2017. And that's also like when the cryptocurrency surge really kicked in for a lot of people too. But for me, it was just like, now all of a sudden, wow, for the first time in my life, I really don't trust my government in the way that I used to. And it forced me to start asking questions about a lot of things that I've just never asked questions about before. And we can go Joe Rogan,
like what,
podcast style here if you want for a little bit.
Yeah, man, just open up about the things you started questioning.
I mean, I used to be someone who was very like, if someone would say like 9/11 was fake, or like the moon landing was fake and things like that, definitely more than 2 years ago, I'd be like, bro, you're crazy. Like, stop talking. And I can even say now that like I'm not at all in a position to say that things like that are true or fake. I'm just in a position now to say like, you never know. Like, you really don't know, and you should probably do your research instead of just like allowing what your teachers tell you growing up from ages 5 through whatever. Instead of just taking that all as truth, you really need to self-educate and look into things like this for yourself. And so there's so many. I just had I'm in Newfoundland, Canada. I got here at 12:30 a.m. last night, meeting up with my friends. One of my friends' girlfriends, this made me like so happy because I didn't know people in Newfoundland thought like this, but she was like, she's never been vaccinated before. She never had any vaccinations. She's very against vaccinations. And that's one thing I've always been on the fence about. I'm like, dude, I have no idea. Like, when I have kids, I have no idea. But she's like healthy as all can be. And it's like, all right, well, that's good to see, because, you know, everyone's saying like, if you don't vaccinate your kids, they're going to turn into like Smurfs or something. So there's just so many interesting perspectives out there that people call conspiracies, but they really could be just as true as what we are taught is true. And one of my favorite quotes is from Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which is also a paradigm shifting book that I read. I recommend that to anyone interested in real estate, but just recommend it to anyone. Robert Kiyosaki likes to say there's 3 sides to the coin, to a coin. There's, you know, heads, tails, and then there's the edge. And so if you're able to stand on the edge and realize like, hey, maybe there is no right or wrong. Maybe there's this way and there's this way. It's liberating to me.
Yeah. Well, that's very interesting. Okay. So you became more of a skeptic, like a healthy skeptic, I'd say, towards everything, just not taking everything at face value, which has been proven the amount of things that just were incorrect. I mean, there's countless examples to go around. So you kind of became against taxes. Maybe another thing where people always see it as black and white, like the government needs taxes in order to operate. But then you start looking into it a little bit deeper and they're like, wow, the US budget from 2000, even from like 2006, 2007 is the same as like today's budget plus income taxes, meaning you could take away, not charge people income taxes, and you'd still have the budget spent in 2006. Translation, government spends a ton of money, wastes a lot of money. Inflation is like the big killer in terms of income inequality. And maybe we don't have to pay so many taxes. But that's kind of my belief. I realize you probably agree with it somewhat there, but really the idea that life isn't black and white, it's gray. And you mentioned Robert Kiyosaki, Roger Ver, some of these top performers, Peter Thiel, they embody that and they understand the nuances and the subtleties, because those that look at things black and white are really missing out and they have a really restricted view of the world.
Yeah, exactly. And again, I really don't know where that paradigm shift in thinking begins. I think part of it is something that, it sounds corny, but like it really comes from within. For me, I think it was something that seeking and wanting to know more about life has always been a part of who I am, and it decided to start really surfacing itself when I was 26 years old. It's different for everyone.
And after learning these things, I mean, you mentioned your brother, your sister, your family, friends. I would guess not everyone shares these beliefs with you. Has it changed the way you connect with them?
Whew, yeah. This is really helpful. This is like borderline therapeutic for me to have this conversation with you right now, because it's still so fresh and it's still so new to me. A lot of these views, to the point where I've had to slowly communicate some of these thoughts and these ideas and these beliefs with close friends and close family. And, you know, part of that is just the whole journey of facing your fears too. I realized I was in a position recently where some of the things that I have begun to at least consider, because I'm not saying that I believe in all of these conspiracies, but I'm saying, you know, they're all worthy of consideration. So even being worthy of considering them around my friends and family is me taking a step towards something that I'm afraid of, because ultimately sometimes what I'm afraid of is like, oh man, they're going to think Adam's gone off the deep end now. They're going to think Adam's just one of those crazy people that's, you know, that's crazy. And so being able to communicate with them, I think honestly is probably one of the first steps, because, you know, you got to be able to talk to your friends and family about things like this. But at the same time, doing it here, speaking to this beautiful audience that we have that doesn't really know me, I guess is a nice way to loosen it up with the people that really do know and care about you. Because, you know, ultimately it's just facing those fears, because on their end, why they would be afraid for me maybe saying or believing or talking about anything like this on their end is also out of fear. They're like, oh man, we don't want to lose Adam, or, you know, maybe it's all everyone getting an opportunity to face their fears. And that's life. And a really cool metaphor that I've heard recently, and I'll share this with you, is as a collective, we're like kind of like bugs just gravitating towards the light. Like everyone just wants the light, just want to see the light, just want to touch the light. But we have to remember that all life actually begins in the darkness. All life begins in the shadows. Like a flower can't receive the light that it desires until the roots and the foundation and everything in the soil first comes into form. And so going into that darkness and developing who you are, finding out who you are in those scary places is going to allow you to flourish once it is time to receive the light. And now we're just elevating this conversation. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, I love your honesty on your self-discovery process. I think that's a great way to connect with people and with listeners. Let's move this into Liberland, because this is a very deep topic. And we had Vit on, the president of Liberland, and they're launching this summer. It's a very radical concept. There's no doubt about that. I think I have my pin, my Liberland pin that I got from Vit in my bag here. I'm supportive of it. Roger put it very well, where people that aren't into the whole, we'll say, self-government, creating competition among new free lands and just creating more nations, for lack of a better word, you should be a fan either way. If you're into the current state today, that's fine. Respect your opinion. Well, you should be rooting for it, because if it doesn't work, you can say, hey, they tried it with Liberland, it didn't work. On the other hand, if you believe in it, well, great, you have a chance for this to work. I think Roger really put it well. Well, one of the two things I'd like to talk about with Liberland is seasteading, because seasteading, right, it's different. They really had a poor execution. I think there's no way around it. I mean, you had this one couple that essentially, man, they put a pole in the ocean about 12 to 13 miles out, which is very brave. And then it just became this whole mess where the Thai Navy was trying to put them in prison, maybe the death penalty. Oh man, I'll send you the article. But long story short, I thought Seasteading Institute should have stepped up. And, this is the first people, they tried to do it in French Polynesia. And the whole idea was more of a floating city, not just like these two people on like an REI tent off the coast of Thailand. But it was definitely not a good showing for those looking into sovereign states. And I think Liberland is much more thought out and taking more action. But I mean, that's definitely in the news, and that's a stigma that's going with this. So I wonder, what are your thoughts on Liberland and the many things you do? You run the Liberland show, the Liberland podcast, where you had Roger on. I mean, what do you think about it going forward in, say, the next 6 to 12 months?
Yeah. Well, I think ultimately it all comes down to us internally and how we want to look at the situation. And I think, thankfully, a lot of the people involved in the project do have a generally positive mindset. So first of all, I say we're exactly where we need to be in regards to establishing a nation. And I also want to, I guess, throw a disclaimer out there. I mean, for the most part, everything that I do know and I am about to share about Liberland is simply through interviewing people on the podcast. I'm not a vice president, I'm not Minister of Foreign Affairs or anything like that, but we're in a great position. We just had our 4th anniversary. If you look back at any other country that's ever been founded, I'll say, just use the United States, for example. Columbus landed in 1492 or so, we've been taught. And so the U.S. didn't become a country until 300 years later. So the amount of progress that we've been able to make in 4 years is almost unheard of. And I give credit to that through the power of technology, through the internet, through blockchain, everything that's happening. It's like a perfect time for things to really happen fast. We have over 90 representatives in different countries. The average Liberlandian speaks 3 languages. There's so many people who are just passionate about the project that it's giving us. So for anyone listening that doesn't know this, currently right now, the land that we call Liberland between Croatia and Serbia, sitting on the Danube River, is being blockaded, what we believe illegally, by the Croatian police, Croatian government. So we feel as though, we're being bullied a little bit right now. But at the same time, one of our biggest principles is the non-aggression principle, which is like so awesome. I love that. That's like, again, probably one of my favorite things about Liberland is that's how we roll. And so we're going to do everything that we can to continue moving forward without making a big deal about it. And there's certain plans and ideas in place to make sure that one day we will be able to physically establish a brick and mortar presence on Liberland. But for the time being, let's stick with the technology. And so we're putting together really unique opportunities. And I should say that there still are brick and mortar opportunities. They're just floating on the Danube River. So if you go to floating.ll.land, you can look more into this, but there are plenty of unique opportunities to still purchase and have property in Liberland. Floating.ll.land, I'll say it one more time. Go ahead and check out the website. Getting back to what I was saying, from a technology standpoint, the Liberland Merit is now tradable. It's on altilli.com, I believe, and maybe one other exchange.
And hold on, Adam, for those that aren't listening, they know what Liberland is, but they may not be aware of the Merit token. Can I take a shot at explaining it and you can correct me? The Merit token is kind of like the currency of Liberland. It's actually built on the Bitcoin Cash blockchain. So it's a cryptocurrency that I think you can use to purchase citizenship. And I don't think that's the only prerequisite, but you can use to purchase citizenship. Also, you can earn merit for how good of a citizen you are based on certain metrics. Is that fair?
Yeah. I mean, for example, I'm compensated in merits for doing the podcast, and anyone who's serving the nation basically that's how they're compensated. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
So there's this party this summer where they're going to have a bunch of boats on the Danube River next to the territory, right? And you'll be able to purchase, I guess, space or like maybe actually vessels in Liberland as a real estate opportunity.
Yeah, it's interesting because I wasn't sure how public that news had been made. Yeah, August 13th through the 18th, correct me if I'm wrong, is what we're calling Floating Man, which is cool. I'm sure we'll be able to pull some Burning Man crowd out there too. That's the beauty. I've never been to Burning Man, but Joe Quirk, who's really big on seasteading, I like his take on it. It's like, to him, he's been, I think he said like 7 or 8 times, and every time he goes, it's amazing to see what humans who are governing themselves are capable of doing. And he's like, it takes a new shape, it takes a new form every time, but everyone always figures out a way to work together. I mean, I don't know if you've ever been, but from what I understand, there's no money out there. And I'm kind of getting away because I don't think Floating Man with Lieberland is going to be anything like Burning Man. It's more they just kind of sound the same. But I like the concept of Burning Man from the aspect that it kind of shows you what humans are capable of doing if it's just them, just starting from scratch.
I resonate with that. So I haven't been to Burning Man. I have a lot of friends that go and are really into it. I like the idea of any type of gathering that just trying to push beyond the current human limits. I think that's very profound, as long, again, as there's no violence or anything like that or torture.
There's actually probably no correlation between the two, but it's called Floating Man.
I'd say there's a correlation. This is it's kind of like going to the first Burning Man, because no one really knew what was going to happen in the first Burning Man. I think it's been around for 20, 30 years. Again, goes back to your idea of patience and decades or centuries for things to really take shape, hopefully faster, but understanding that the greatest things in humanity, I think of the pyramids and many other examples, they take decades to develop. But going to Floating Man, that's an experiment at a different way of living. So obviously the weather, you're not in a desert. There may or may not be a lot of psychedelics and music and art that could be there. I wouldn't expect as much at Burning Man, or I'm saying at Floating Man, as there would be at Burning Man. But I've thought about that. I don't know if I can get into that, and I happen to be in Europe, I'd be very interested in going. Are you going to Floating Man?
That's my plan right now. I have no reason not to. Again, based on what I was saying, over the next 6 months for me, if from a professional standpoint outside of Lieberland, if there's a situation that I'm in where okay, I'm not gonna be able to make it, then I won't make it. But I would say as of right now, I have no reason not to. So yeah, my answer is yes. Oh, real quick about Lieberland too. I'm sorry, anyone listening, they can also just go to Lieberland.org to learn more, or LieberlandPress.com as well are both great sources, because we're pretty excited about our e-residency platform right now as well. I know we didn't get to talk about that yet, but plenty of information online about e-residency with Lieberland.
There's been 500,000 applicants for Lieberland?
I think we're over 600,000 now. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so that's a cool project to be part of. You seem to be at a point in your life where you've got the commercial real estate, as a primary source of income, but looking into cryptocurrency, working with Lieberland, you're casting a wide net. And I mean that in a very positive way, not in an unfocused way, as you kind of figure out who you are, but also connect that with the projects you do. So kudos for that, Adam.
Thank you.
I hope we stay in touch just to see how you continue to evolve and keep exploring the world.
Yeah, you bring up an interesting point there with casting a wide net too. I recently had some one-on-one coaching with, I would just say just a coach. You could call him a business or a life coach, whatever. But she said to me that, I communicated to her the things that I'm doing in my life. And what we boiled it down to is I'm doing X, Y, Z. However, at the end of the day, it's all still the same thing. Everything's all still connected, and it's all still moving in the direction of this mission, of this legacy that I've chosen to embark on. And so that would be my advice to anyone out there. I hear the phrase all the time, find your niche and get rich. And that's great. I would just advise to always be open. Even if you are working on finding your niche and getting rich, be open to all opportunities, because at the end of the day, they really do flow together if you allow them to.
Oh, man. Well, Adam, thank you so much. We can find Adam at Carswell, CARSWELL.io, which lists most of the projects he's working on. I'll link to the Lieberland and the float.ll.land and Lieberland.org, everything at podcast.bitcoin.com.
Thank you, Matt. This has been super fun.
Awesome, man. Thank you, Adam.
Thanks for listening to the Bitcoin.com podcast network. To learn more about our shows, visit bitcoin.com/podcast. Bitcoin.com podcast network.
Ross Ulbricht is serving a double life sentence without parole for all nonviolent charges for creating a website. Please help free this peaceful man. Go to freeross.org and sign and share the petition.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM. The latest edition of Proof of Love is next on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM. Get more at proofoflovecast.com.
You are listening to Proof of Love with Tatiana Moroz, Dr. Stephanie Murphy, and Lauren Kasovitz. This show may contain adult content, language, and humor and is intended for mature audiences. If that's not you, please stop listening. Nothing you hear on Proof of Love is intended as financial advice, legal advice, therapy, or really anything other than entertainment. Please take everything that you hear with a grain of salt. Oh, and if you're hearing us on an affiliate network, the ideas and views expressed on this show are not necessarily those of the network that you're listening on, or of any of the sponsors or affiliate products that you may hear about on the show. Now that that's squared away, let's start the show. Show me your heart. I know that it's beating. Tell me that you love me too. So I know your heart is true. 'Cause I need some proof of love. 'Cause I need some proof of love. 'Cause I need some proof of love. This episode of Proof of Love is brought to you by Vaultoro. Vaultoro is a gold hedging solution for the crypto community. One of the challenges of investing in cryptocurrencies is dealing with volatility. Keeping a diversified portfolio is a key to healthy returns. I keep about 10% of my crypto assets in gold using Vaultoro. Vaultoro allows me to open a gold wallet in seconds where I can trade easily with cryptos and gold. What I like about using Vaultoro instead of Tether is that the gold in my Vaultoro wallet is insured, audited, vaulted in Switzerland, and unlike fiat money, gold has increased in value for the last 20 years. Visit Vaultoro.com and start today. That is vault, like a gold vault, and oro, which is Spanish for gold. Vaultoro, ole! Hello, everybody, and welcome to Proof of Love. This is the show where you get in touch with your softer side. This isn't all crypto time. We're going to talk about relationships, personal development, all sorts of weird, kooky topics. And today we're going to be answering questions from you guys, which has been something that we've been wanting to do since the beginning of the show.
Oh my God. I am so excited about this, Tatiana. This is like what I live for. Like, this is how I got into doing what I do, is answering relationship questions on the internet.
Excellent. So yeah, so people who didn't ever listen to Pork Therapy, was it just you as the hostess?
It was me mostly, but we started out the show with me and myself and my friend Mike. And we were answering relationship questions kind of inspired by like Dan Savage or like Dear Prudence or Dear Abby kind of thing. And I just had a blast with this, and I'm so glad we get to do it again here on Proof of Love. Now, if you have a question for the show, we're going to be doing Q&A shows in the future too. So send in your questions to Tatiana@proofoflovecast.com, right?
I think so. I'm not sure if I even have that email. Let's stick with Tatiana at Proof. Well, there's an email thing that's on the website itself, but if people go to Tatiana
at cryptomediahub.com. They could definitely catch us there. Or
send in your relationship questions to Tatiana at cryptomediahub.com, or you can find out how to contact us through our website, which is proofoflovecast.com.
Correct. And then we're also on Twitter and all the social media things, so they can ping us there. But so we've got questions, and I guess we're gonna have to come up with the answers.
Yes.
Should we warn people? Our answers are not the greatest answers. They may be, but we're not forcing you guys to take our advice. Don't listen to our advice.
That's right. We're doing this for fun, and if we're going to build credibility with people, we have to give decent enough answers that they feel persuaded to listen, and our disclaimer covers the rest. We're not experts. We're not, there's no license for this. Okay. We're just doing this for fun. So enjoy the show, people, and don't take it too seriously.
Exactly. So which questions, we've got a lot of questions actually.
Yeah.
Which ones do you want to go over first? Do you want to pick the first one or you want me to go?